Hey guys, what's up? This is V Man from No Budget Productions, and yeah, I I'm home. I'm on vacation. It's late, and Royce is sleeping. I didn't really feel like playing the video games, and didn't really have anything to record because my printer's not working. So I'll have to wait to print some stuff. So yeah, I figured I would just chat with you guys, see what's up. So figured, yeah. So what's up, guys? Make sure the dogs don't come in here. Yeah, it's one of the things about being, uh, in a kind of studio per se. You get to kind of have a lone, area where you can do shit. So some quiet time. So yeah, so I figured it would be kind of nice to, since I haven't really been, you know, uh, online much. Figured to chit chat with you guys. So I'm kind of eager to watch some Prodigy. I saw the uniforms. That's something that Star Trek does exceptional is uniforms, but I'm not too keen on the uniforms. What do you guys think? Um, we had fuck man, it's been 4 years now since Discovery came. The Discovery uniforms I thought were kind of shit. Let's see here. So I felt like the Discovery uniforms were kind of shit. Was not a fan of those ones. Um, I don't know. Like I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like those ones, they're like the negatives were far outweighed the positives. Because you heard a lot more fans bitching than you did go yay. Could be wrong though. Um, and anybody, please jump in the chat. Let me know. So now I know there are cosplayers out there that do cosplay with that uniform, but yeah, I don't know. I was not a fan of that design. I thought they were kind of ugly. Um, to me it was just one of those uniforms that it was just overly done. The designer said they tried to pick and choose stuff from each one of the series, from the com badge being, having worked in some like the pips are on the com badge, they had this from this series, this from this series, and they try to throw everything but the kitchen sink into the uniform. And to me it just felt overly busy. Plus the uniform, the colors from like, okay, which division are we in? To me it just looked bad. And it was hard to see uh, what 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 are we going for here, especially considering like the cage was supposed to be like a couple of years before that. And then in season two we had the Captain Pike uh, uniforms, which I they're one of my favorite uniforms. Those ones are. So when those uniforms came out, like I didn't mind buying those ones. I felt like that was money well spent. Um, I thought they took the aesthetic of the Discovery era uniforms and gave it that classic TOS look. Um, the color scheme, gold, red, blue, um, and and then add the rank onto the sleeves. And I thought, man, this is really just a beautiful design. Um, to me, it was reminiscent enough of like say Star Trek Beyond. I really didn't care for the first two Kelvin uniform or the first two movies Kelvin uniform, but I really did like the Star Trek Beyond uniform. So going to Star Trek Discovery season two's Star Trek Pike uniform, I really loved that. So I didn't mind spending the money on that uniform. I haven't broke down and bought the Discovery uniform from season one. I don't think I will. It's kind of like with the Star Trek the Motion Picture uniform. It took me forever to actually get that uniform, and Frank had to actually send me the Admiral uniform for that one because I needed it for a storyline we were doing, and I was very hesitant to do it. Um, but he actually sent me the Admiral uniform for that one that we're doing. Up to that point, I'd either borrowed Michael Sylvester's Admiral uniform, or I would film it from a weird angle and either put like a gray long sleeve shirt here and then use a white, uh, uh, you know, turn it backwards and have a white collared dress shirt, and then kind of camera angle it here so it looked like a TMP Admiral uniform. Just do a weird camera angle. And that's one of the fun things about doing fan films. You tend to, uh, do things weird because of a lack of budget. But Frank broke down and bought me one. I was like, here you go. Um, so, but I never felt the need to go into the TMP era because the uniforms were they were never something that I had wanted to delve into. So going into season 3 of Discovery, and we had those kind of gray Starfleet uniforms, which were something that it didn't really excite me. Um, Looking at them, I was like, I guess I could, but the only reason I really could see myself doing something like that would be to tell the joke that Josh Irwin and I have about Harry Kim, on screen and sing Kim, you know. Um, but I was like, man, spending $80 on a uniform, that's just to tell that one joke. I can't really do that. That's, especially for a uniform that I'm not um, keen on. Joe Kelly says TMP uniforms are ugly. No, they fucking are, dude. Especially the browns and beiges that they are. And the thing about those uniforms are there's no method to their madness. And that's the kind of how I felt about Discovery season 1 uniforms. Is like I'm looking at them and I'm like, I have no idea what security is. I don't know what medical is. Like I know what medical is, but like I have no idea who's doing what job. Like where they're at. Like I don't know who's what. And that's kind of how TMP was. It's like, it felt like all their uniforms were just like fucking interchangeable. And then you had the hairy chest fucking Dr. McCoy or you know, they all had that kind of 70s fro puffing out their chests, especially Kirk. It was a really weird design. And then the pants, they actually sent me 2 pairs of pants for the TMP uniform. So it was like, these are weird. You know how it's kind of built into the shoe. So I have that. I think I think Next Gen season 1 had kind of the same thing going on. Joe Killer says, never you tried Kozer Mart uniforms on eBay? No, I haven't. If you want to send me a link on, hold on. Well, it must have been the dog. I thought I heard Royce yell my name. Must have been the dog. Must have been the dog yelling my name. That doesn't make no sense. No, send me a link on Facebook in a private message. I don't want to put any links like that here um, on YouTube. Some that usually they don't show up on stuff like that here. So just send me a link on Facebook, and I'll gladly take a look at it. But I'm open to anything because it's when you're working on shoestring budget or I can't afford the $1,500 Avanos, you know, uniforms. I have to buy the dirt cheap. That's why when people bitch about the uniforms, it's like, dude, it is what it is. My Starfleet officers wear, the white tube socks, because it's like, let's see here. Attack of the Joes. He says, I will. Good job. Good deal. Good deal. So, Joe says, I've kind of been looking around for the shirts. Let me know what shirt you're looking for, because I will gladly pass on the vast knowledge that I have, or reach out to whoever I know that knows, and I can probably help you out, man. Because I was looking around for some TOS, which usually pretty cheap, and I was like, what the fuck? Why are they so expensive? Like they're usually not this expensive, and I found out that the person who usually um, sold those, stopped doing it. So I was like, that's weird. So I had one of my friends, hook me up with another one of their dealers. feel like we're I feel like this is one of those like dare operations from like the 80s. like Officer McGruff is gonna come kick my door in over there. But no, going back to the uniform discussion, no, Discovery season 1 was a lot like TMP, you know. Oh, dude, Loki, what the fuck's up, man? How we doing, brother? He says, "What's the word, Vance?" Mum's word, man. Keeping so many secrets. I'm talking about uniforms, doing back back alley deals with my buddy Joe here. No, man, we're just discussing uniforms and how I started off. I was going to talk about Prodigy, but then I was like, I started talking about the uniform changes and stuff, and just started delving into that. Right now, I'm talking about the Discovery season 1, how it just kind of looked kind of crappy, and then the Discovery uniforms from season 2, like I thought were really great. How it kind of took that aesthetic of the Discovery season 1 and took the colors from season 2, or I mean from TOS, and just looked really great. And then we're moving on to season 3 of Discovery, and it kind of had that gray, kind of drab. And I never felt the need to buy those ones, because those, like I was saying, those kind of reminded me of the motion picture uniforms, where it was just everything was kind of bland, and I couldn't justify buying those uniforms because, it's outside of making the one joke about on screen Ensign Kim, where he's still an ensign in the 32nd century. Like, I couldn't justify buying them, because I just didn't find those uniforms appealing. But with these season 4 uniforms for Discovery, they're fucking beautiful, because they really pop on screen. Even though I'm not a fan of this season of Discovery, I feel like we've had 7 episodes and a lot of nothing has happened. I'm hoping the second half of the season will get a lot better and pick up, because just a lot of nothing has happened. I mean, people are looking around; they're mad at each other, obviously, but I don't know why. It's kind of like Michael Burnham crying in the hallway. Like, I fucking know why she's crying, but she's always seemed to be crying. And it's people this season, like, they're mad at each other, and I don't know why. Like, if I want to see someone mad at me, I'll sit at home and look at Mona be mad at me, for some ungodly reason, But the uniforms this season, like, they really fucking pop, and it's one of those things that I bought this uniform because I had a story to tell, and I sat on the uniform for a while, knowing, okay, at some point I want to do something, and I had a couple of stories that I finally could justify buying that uniform, so I did. Joder says, I haven't seen season 3 yet, not in a DVD in my store. Season 3 is a lot better than season 4, I feel. But season 4 looks better, uniform wise, I feel. But the season 3 I felt was a lot better. The payoff's not as good. It's kind of horse shit, because you get to the payoff and you're like, oh, that's it. But it's good. It really is, because it really sets up that world, and it's from my opinion, it's what Discovery should have been to begin with. And it does raise a lot of questions. To me, it really feels out that world of what now for Starfleet. If they had started the series here, it would have been really fucking great. And I feel like they should have. But then again, I mean, we got Captain Pike out of season 2. That was fucking great. We got Lorca in season 1. He was one of my favorite captains to begin with, even though he's Mirror Universe. He was fucking great. But I mean, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm not, because there's enough there. In each one of these Star Trek shows, there's enough there where I can look at it and say, I can be inspired and do this with it, and even in the shows that I'm not a fan of, I can. Like, even Star Trek Picard, I took a great couple of ideas and ran with it, made a great fan film. One that I'm going to put in the award ceremony here for Federation Files, like their director's choice ceremony. I'm going to put in a film, and that film has 20,000 views, which for my channel is fucking phenomenal, because none of my shit really even approaches that those numbers. But it's a great film, and it was something because it's like I felt that Star Trek Picard really didn't touch upon this subject, and I took it, and people liked it. So that's one of the things that I think that Star Trek, the fan films, really, they embellish these things that main Trek just doesn't do. Not these days. Even classic Star Trek, they kind of scrape the surface of some of the topics. Um, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy season 3, season 4. They both are hits and misses in different areas. Loki says the Enterprise crew uniforms look good, and I agree. Season 3 was gray and blend. Yeah, they really were. I think they were trying to show that the Starfleet was kind of, to me, from a visual perspective. And I've brought this up before to people, and then when they think about it, they're like, you know what, kind of. Starfleet's kind of lifeless, and just from a visual perspective, like there's just not much there. I mean, their whole starbase is kind of inside. Spoilers, Joe. It's kind of lifeless. They're inside this kind of bubble thing. Nobody can see them. To me, that's very symbolic of Starfleet. Everyone just kind of looks over you. They kind of, nobody pays attention to you. That's symbolic right there. I love the symbology there. Your uniforms, it's kind of lifeless. It's drab. And to me, having only one, your stripe of thing right there on uniform, it's kind of like, you got a chip on your shoulder. Everything's on your shoulder. That symbolism right there. I love and it's I'm probably putting more thought into it than the writers did. As a writer myself, I think on these scales, and when I write my stories, I think of detail like that. And when you get to season 4, everything pops. Discovery's helping do all these things, and we're helping the Federation. We're jumping to these worlds and helping them out. And the uniforms have changed. They're now those same uniforms from season 3, but now they've got all this color to it, kind of like the Captain Pike uniforms from Discovery season 2. So now we've got reinvigorated. We've got life into it. We've got that breath of fresh air. So the symbology, I fucking love it. However, the season 4 is not that good, but the symbology, I love it. I wonder, is that me reading too much into it, or is that what they meant to do? I don't know. But so Joe Kelly says, my uniform, you've seen that is where is one from. I'm getting my uniform. You've seen that aware is one from that seller, not bad price and good quality if on a budget. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, to me, you can go there. There was a lady on YouTube that was doing home style costumes where she would just make the shit from, she'd grab it from the thrift store, make it all homemade, and yada, yada, yada. And boom, there you go. To me, it's like, it's the story that you're telling, not necessarily how great your costume is. Because you can take, I'm sorry, if anybody loves Star Trek Continues or Star Trek Phase 2, they've told some great stories, but they've also told some clunkers. And those who love those two brands, hey, if you love it and that's your thing, awesome. And again, I can never compete with those scale of productions. I can't compete with anything in any capacity, and I'm not on that level at all. So don't think I'm walking around here thumping my chest. I'm not. However, they've told some great stories. They've told some clunkers. From my perspective, if you're going to have those type of actors, of the caliber, make sure the story you're telling is of highest bar. And I don't think they were that good. So I've seen some productions that have just the highest bar of uniforms, and at the end of the day, their stories have been forgettable. However, I've seen some, taken off the rack from a costume Halloween shop that have walked out in a field of corn that just got mowed, plowed, whatever. And it's great storytelling. So to me, fuck the uniforms. If it's not good, it's not good. But what's your story like? Because to me, if I'm thinking about it 3 hours later, I'm like, man, that was a great fucking story. Fuck the uniform. Look at Twilight Zone from the 50s. How crap were their production sets? I mean, you can see the trees like wobbling in the back. Half the time it's like, it's like one step up from like a second grade, third grade production play where, you know, it's cardboard tree. But their stories were great. And it inspires you to go do your own thing. Those are the things that I love, not the CGI pew pew pew. I don't care about visual effects. That's icing on the cake. How good's your cake? You know, if I want the frosting, I'll just go fucking eat a can of frosting. Lord knows I got the fucking gut for it. So I'm not complaining about that. But to me, all those other things, it's just the wrapper of the candy. How good's the candy? So that's just my thoughts. So Steve Atwell, my brother Crorath, says, "Yay, I'm on time for a change." Crorath, you know, it must have been fate, man. Someone was telling me, man, I need to go on. Bless your heart. I'm glad you're here, brother, and I hope you're feeling well, man. As I've been watching your stuff, I've been wanting to reach out to you. I'm glad you're here, man. It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Joder says, interesting, makes me want to just order season 3 DVD. Man, I would recommend it, man. I really would. I really would. It's the way I see it, and this is what I was talking about the other day with people talking about the Star Trek toys, because they brought out 6 figures and 2 accessories. They brought out no, eight figures. They brought out Kirk, Spock, and Khan in the Wrath of Khan era. They brought out in the Next Generation. They brought out Picard, Riker, and Data, and that was season 3 through 7 era. And then they brought out Saru and Burnham in the Discovery season 1 era. Then they brought out the classic TOS phaser and the Enterprise 1701. And here's my thing. I'm not a fan of Discovery, especially season 1. I mean, I'll watch it because it's on, but I'm not like racing to be, oh my God, I got to watch it. You know, it's not like that. It's not like it was when Next Gen and DS9 came on, when, you know, first run. But I'll watch it. However, I will buy the toys. I will buy the accessories. You know, Roy, that Enterprise, I'm fucking buying that for Royce because he fucking loves starships. And his own phaser, I mean, fuck, man, he's got my props, you know. But I will buy him a brand new phaser because he's going to look at that, and on Christmas Day, he's going to look at that and go, "Oh, I know he will." Even though he's, you know, because that's not his dad's phaser, that's his. That space, you know, the Starship Enterprise, is going to go, spaceship. And in my mind, that's his. And I'll buy all those toys and I'll save them for Christmas because he's got all my toys from, you know, Playmates line, but those are going to be his. And here's the thing. If, you know, the reason why they did that is because, and I said this in my video that I did on the figures release, if we don't support this line, they're not going to fucking make anymore. Now you can argue and say, well, they should have made all of Next Gen, or they should have made some DS9. And they didn't fucking do that. The reason being is they're trying to appeal to, they got a little bit from the older fans to appeal because, you know, Kirk, Spock, you know, they got a bad guy because, hey, everyone knows Khan. Either a Khan or a Klingon. Everyone knows that. They got enough for my generation, which is Spock, or I mean, Picard, Data, Riker. I wouldn't put Riker, but whatever. And then they got something for this new generation. Although I can't imagine any kid watching Burnham and Saru like, hey, you got an alien, a massive alien there. So they're trying to appeal to each generation of Trek fans, which is what you need to do to establish the next generation of Trek fans. And I feel the same way about this series. So I would say order the DVDs, order it. Because there's not going to be new Trek if we don't support it. And these people that are just nitpicking on every little thing. I didn't like Prodigy. I don't. However, I saw the fans, I saw the cadet uniforms, or, you know, crewman uniforms, whatever. I saw the picture, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go back and give it a chance. I didn't fucking like Lower Decks, but Ramblin' Canuck was like, you know what? I mean, we fucking, you know, him and Captain Trek and I fucking nitpicked that show, but I gave it another chance. You know what? I fucking love it. Royce loves it. If we don't give these shows a chance, or we don't support it, and if we just stick to the old shit, they're not going to make new shit. And they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to go another 15 fucking years without Trek. And you know what? By that time, they're going to go to something else. So, yes, there are things I don't like about it, but I have to look at the good, and I have to support it when they give us new stuff. And I'm not saying I'm going to buy, you know, everything they throw at me. I'm not going to buy the fucking what are those bobblehead things that they put out? These things. These things. I'm not going to buy these, you know, my brother-in-law bought me this, so um, I'm not going to buy those because I know they put those out. I'm not going to buy those. Although if they have a Wesley Crusher one and somebody wants to, throw it my way, well, I'll take a Wesley Crusher or Captain Cisco if they got that in the First Contact uniform. But I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to buy every single thing. But if you like the action figures and you're like, I'm only going to buy Data and Picard. No, a line will not sell if you don't buy. And that's just like the Masters of the Universe Origins line that they have out. They're not going to sell more if you don't buy. Like I do not like every single figure they put out, but I buy every single one for Royce. And we play. For those that follow me on Facebook, see the war that we have with Ram Man and Buzz Off. And Royce gets into it because he's learning those figures for the first time. And then when I get a new figure for him, I'm like, hey, here's a cartoon on YouTube about He-Man. He loves Battle Cat. That's his favorite fucking character. Think about that. And a cartoon series is like 35 years old. My kid loves Battle Cat. And that's what needs to happen for future Star Trek. If I was stuck in that frame of mind of, I don't want no new stuff, then the franchise is dead. People like me are going to kill the franchise if we're always stuck in the past. And people like my parents who were like, who had the frame of mind of, it's not Star Trek if it's not Kirk and Spock. Give it up. There is no franchise. So people have, it's kind of like, it's kind of like Kirk said in Star Trek 6, six. It's like Kirk said in Star Trek 6. History has to move past people like me. I think it was Kirk or Gorkon. Fuck, man, I need to learn my Star Trek. I write this shit. But history has to move past people like me. People like us. So anyway, off my soapbox. So Loki says, people like Vance keep the hope alive for Star Trek. Oh, bless your heart. That's a lie I can live with. You don't got to tell me I started that rumor. Joe Dirt says, hi, Steve. Joe Dirt says, hi. Well, hi, Loki. Joe, Kelly. Joe says, Loki. Joe says, hey, Joe, number 2. Loki says, hola, Joe. Dirte to you. Let's see. Yes. Coaster Mart is a seller. They have a Facebook and an eBay store. Well, that'll probably help out, man. Like I said, yeah, you send me the, I think I saw the Facebook message pop up. So I mean, I'll check that out as soon as we're done here, as soon as I stop tripping over my own words, I'll gladly check it out. Cause I mean, it's one of those things that, when the guidelines first came out, I was always so scared, like, oh my God, what if I trip up on this? And what if man, fuck it. A deal's a deal. If it's a good deal, I'll buy it, and as soon as and I've always lived by, as soon as Paramount's, they never have to do a C&D. All they got to do is just, hey man, would you mind not doing that? And stop, fat man. All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me play in your sandbox. Like there will never be I'm mad at you guys. Like, hey, if you don't want me to do it anymore, I've made 111 at this point. I'm good. So, if they're going to get mad that I'm not using the authentic, professional $1,500 uniform, hey, okay. But I don't think that they have anything to worry about. So, man, a deal's a deal. I don't mind. That's why when these people get pissed off that, the guidelines killed fan films, I'm like, what? You have no idea what you're fucking talking about. Like these people, they're idiot. Let's see. Steve says Prodigy has become a damn good show. And that's what I've heard. Like I've heard that. Zam told me that. I didn't believe him. I liked the one that had all the Star Trek characters in it on the Kobayashi Maru. And then, like I said, I meant to go back. I just never had a chance. And then I had a friend pass away from COVID. And then a family, his father passed away. And I was like, oh, shit. I mean, it's just a bad couple of weeks. And that's another reason why I took, I took yesterday and today vacation on top of Saturday, Sunday, because I need to spend some time with my kid. Just be like, you know what, I'm not going to the studio to film for a while. Mona's still at school. I need to go spend some time with my kid. I need to go fucking be me for a bit. So I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna go watch Prodigy tonight. That's what I was gonna go do. But I was like, I haven't done any late night streams in a while. I'm gonna go do it. Because I actually, what I've been doing the past couple of weeks while I was on a sabbatical from YouTube was I actually recorded some shows. So you guys will have something for the next couple months or next month and a half. At 5 o'clock every night, you tune in at 5 o'clock, you'll be able to watch some pre-recorded shows of me fucking around on some video games, or me fucking around talking about CodStar, or me fucking around watching some reviews of, Batman clips and just talking about like why that scene impacted me. Like, I wanted to do something where it was like, I don't care about views. I don't care about subscribers. I don't care about likes. I wanted to share myself with you guys because I like talking to you guys. And I mean, that's what I think makes this channel good. If I was looking for more subscribers, I certainly wouldn't be making fan films, or at least not these, the podunk ones, but like I've been talking to people who wanted to do more of their own fan films and stuff. And, I really have enjoyed doing that. To me, it's more of a personal thing of helping people out, and finding, rediscovering what makes me happy, and yeah, I will be watching Prodigy though when I get off, at least from the Kobayashi Maru after, because before that point I don't really care. I want to watch that part after where it becomes a little bit more Star Trek, and then I'll be like, okay, now I need to go back and watch it from the beginning because the first episode and a half I just couldn't get into it. So, I'm hoping the Star Trek-ish stuff invigorates me. So. That being said, Joder says, I'm still looking for Picard Season 2 in stores. It's hard to find. Picard Season 2 isn't out yet. It will be coming, I believe, March, late February or early March. I think it's early March, but don't hold me to that. They come out with so much Trek, man. And that's a good thing. So the season is coming out. Hello, Neelix. See, he just broke the reality of my door. Everybody thought it was a whoosh, and it's not. It's a dog can slowly push open the door. Forget the Dominion. You got to worry about Neelix, my dog, and then Rufus over there. So yeah, it won't be in stores. Only Picard Season 1, I think, might be. I think. I'm not sure. Adam Tarver says, I like all the Treks, some more than others, but I watch them all. No, and that's exactly the way to be. You really should, even if you don't really enjoy it. And I know I'm guilty of it myself. I did not watch Prodigy, but when I saw that they were gearing more toward, okay, this is Trek, I picked it up. I watched the one episode and I was like, this isn't too bad. And then I watched the one after that with the Ferengi, and it wasn't too bad. Like I said, I just never picked it back up. But no, I mean that's exactly, we should be supporting the Star Trek. Sadly we just have a bunch of fucking whiners who just shut their fucking mouth and this is the worst thing. You want to watch the worst thing? Go fucking watch Batwoman. That piece of shit. God damn it. That fuck, I want to stab my eyes out. Watch, YouTube's going to take this video down because I'm expressing violence toward myself. I'm going to get like a message. Are you okay? Like they don't pick up on sarcasm. But no, we should be supporting. Joder says, yeah, he agrees. He watches everyone too. No, we should be supporting Star Trek. Don't get me wrong. Like we should be watching it, but we should be vocal about what we don't like about it so that they change. It's just like my films. When I get a critique about, hey, this film sucks, Vance. This is, we think this. I take it all in, the good, the bad. And then I course correct. And that's what Star Trek, if you don't like something, write it, put it in there. But, think about this. When Next Generation first came out, everybody was like, you can't have Star Trek without Kirk, Spock, McCoy. It's not Hey, stop fighting. Seriously, cut it out. Puppies. They make my teeth itch. Jeez Louise. Anyway, when Next Generation first came out, everyone was like, or at least the older fans were like, you can't have Star Trek without Kirk, Spock, McCoy. And if everyone had just stopped and were like, oh my god, we can't try anything new, we wouldn't have got next gen, which I think is probably the most successful Star Trek. I mean, I don't think it's it's not my favorite, but I think it's arguably the most successful Star Trek. Because it's had how many spin-offs? And spin-offs of spin-offs, and then now sequels, and how many films, that being said, you take everything under advisement and the critiques, like the uniforms from the first two seasons, how the story directions, Picard was too much of a dickhead in the first season. You take the good and you go, and then you change on the bad, but you continue going. And that's the same thing with these things. If you were to say, I don't like Discovery, I don't want to watch it. Okay, well, they jumped you to the 32nd century and they're continuing the story. What more do you fucking want? Now, granted, I don't like Michael Burnham. I don't. I can't stand her. I like the actress, but the way they write the characters is like, fuck, she's so annoying. But I do see that they're trying to change and give the character growth. The problem lies with how they're writing, and they're focusing so much on making her the be all and end all. To me, I think the show should be more of an ensemble. But that's not a problem with her, the actress. It's a problem with, look, make it more of an ensemble. Now, this season, I will say the one thing that they have done, and they started to do it last season, was they started to make it more ensemble, more so than the previous seasons. Now, second season, they focused a lot more on Pike than they did Michael, but it was still very much the Michael show. So they're making progress. They're just not there yet. I don't think we're ever going to get there because the series was based on, let's do her. To each their own. I still hate Troy on Next Gen. I'm never going to win that argument. People love Troy. I don't. I fucking hate her. I can't stand her. She's just a useless character. However, what are you going to do? So that being said, Steve says, and I'm learning that He-Man characters through both of you. Bless your heart, man. Well, let me tell you, Buzz-Off is going to win the Ram Man Buzz-Off war. Even if they do bring Battle Armor Skeletor in, I'm going to win. So, stay tuned. Joe Kelly says, no matter what Trek someone likes, we should accept their opinion. To me, that's what Trek is all about, is accepting the differences. I don't know where you got that hogwash. Okay, this is the internet. We don't do that here. Get out of here with that new age phooey. I had to leave most of, Adam says, I had to leave most of the Trek Facebook groups because the fans are pretty negative. No, and that's exactly fucking it. Like, dude, I got okay, I asked if I could post my fan film in one of the groups, and I'm not going to say which one. One of the admins fucking deleted my movie, and I was like, what the fuck? What? So I posted it again, and another admin deleted it. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, again? Why? What the fuck? And then I got a message, stop posting Kelvin Universe movies here. And I'm like, it's not a Kelvin Universe. And it was like, your starship has blue nacelles. It's a Kelvin Universe. I'm like, no, it's not. No. Have you watched the movie? He's like, I don't need to. Stop posting. This is only original timeline. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? No, watch the movies. Like, I don't watch Kelvin bullshit. And I got booted from the group. And I wrote him back and said, dude, really? Like, please watch the film. I am one of the most honest Trekkies in fan films. Like, please, I mean no disrespect. And then he blocked me. I'm like, really? Like, that's the thing of I wasn't being disrespectful. Like, most people know me. I'm very opinionated, but I'm very open-minded. I don't know, man. Maybe I came across as a prick, but I don't know, man. Like, but I was just like, dude, it's not the Calvin. I mean, I understand why I know why he, but I told myself there's an in universe reason, but it's not Calvin. He's like, yeah, I don't watch that Calvin bullshit. I'm like, very Vulcan of you. Yeah, I didn't say that because I didn't want to, I wanted my movie there, not, I very seldom post anywhere outside of my Promenade, fan film forum, and fan fiction universe, like, and my wall. Very outside that, I don't post anywhere for Star Trek shit because it's like anywhere of outside I can kind of control or I personally know, like I don't really post. I think they're Don Crandall. I think Don Cradle, I think is his name. Like he has a group. I think it's 21st Century Trekkies or something like that. Like I'll go to his group because I know he's there and I know him and he supports fan films. And I think he's donated to one of my fan films, I think. If not, at least he shared the fundraiser. But it's one of those things where it's like, dude, they are fucking drama. Like, and you would think for such an enlightened people who are like, guys, remember we all got picked on in high school together. Like we should band together. What are you doing? I don't get it, man. It's like they're taking that high school bully, like when the bullies slap the trays off the lunch trays off our tables, like they're taking that fat ass aggression out on us now. It's like, guys, I jiggle with the rest of you now. We're all overweight. What's going on, man? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's nuts. Joe says, pretty much buy any sci-fi I see on DVD over the decades, but still got to get Vance's DVDs. I'll let you know. Uh, who is it that has it? He works with me. Fuck. What's his name? James Lewis. I will send you his information. I'm sure he'll get it to you. You basically can buy them at cost. It doesn't go through me at all, and I intentionally made it that way so CBS can never come and say I was making a profit because I'm always transparent on everything from my fundraisers that I do to where the money goes. If anyone asks, most of it goes to uniforms, props, and you can usually see that on camera. I mean, given the fact that I did $1,000 and you got 25 fucking films out of it, I stretched that dollar pretty thin. But I'll send you the information to James Lewis. He does it, and it is at cost, and that includes shipping, the DVD case, the sticker that goes on the front for the DVDs. There are 4 DVD sets, and that includes most of the DVDs. Now there have been some releases since those. So I'll get with him. I'll send you his information. So just get back with me after the show, or get with me in a couple days or something to remind me because I forget a lot of stuff. So Adam says my favorite crew will always be the TOS crew. It's the crew I grew up with as a kid, eating dinner after school. There's always room for more though. No, and that's yeah. Like everyone has their own crew. Everyone has their own favorite, and everyone has their crew that they hate. Like Mona's been. A couple of months ago, she was on TNG Kick. Then she went to DS9, and then she went to now she's on Voyager. I hate Voyager, but I've found, and I said actually it was today or yesterday. I was like, I hate Voyager, but when they get it right, they really get it right. Because I see Voyager as a missed opportunity show. It should have been serialized. I understand why the studio said no, we want it episodic. We want more of a TNG vibe, but I feel like Voyager was one of the shows you should have told it differently. Because what happens in one episode should affect what happens next, especially in a show that's a very Lost in Space type vibe. So, I agree. There's always room for more, even if it's not what I'm used to or what I expect. So Steve says, if you ever need to know something about Star Trek, just ask me. I'm quite the scholar, especially when it comes to Klingons. No, absolutely you are. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Klingons, I got something you might find interesting. I think you saw this. You might have seen this. I don't know if Jim posted it, but I got this the other day. So this will be going to one of my films. The Klingon mask from Star Trek Into Darkness. And we do have a Klingon uniform coming for one of the films. So, yeah, instead of doing the Klingon prosthetic, because, of course, I don't have a makeup person. And with COVID and everything, we can't travel. But, yeah, we got this. It's kind of cool. You know, it's just rubber. So, from a distance, I mean, you can't really tell. The Klingon's not going to be talking much. But, of course, rubber move. But from a distance, in the right lighting, it looks very, very imposing. You know, I like it. I like it a lot. Um, Very cool mask. But Daniel Vance says, "Evening, fellow space cadets." Daniel Vance, it's always a pleasure to have you on the channel. Bless your heart, brother. Glad to have you here. Joe Dirt has some space rockets right there. Either that or footballs that are has fire out the one end. I can't really tell. It's kind of hard to tell from here. Steve Atwell says, "At Joe Dirt, howdy." Steve Atwell says, "Another friend gone to COVID. So sorry, Vance." Yeah, it's at this point. I think it's 19. Um, I hate to say it. Um, I hate to say I've lost count. But the reality is I have. Um, the 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 spread of disinformation is driving me nuts. Without getting too political, because that's not what this channel is about. The politicization of everything. I'd like to think in a perfect world, people are good natured. I'd like to think that we're not out to kill each other, or that we all would make the right decision. Everything from both sides, whether you're left leaning or right leaning, I think there's extremities in both. I wish we could meet in the middle and discuss these things again. I don't see us getting there, and that scares the hell out of me for my kids. It pisses me off because I think science is not one of those things that we can have an opinion on. I think it's one of those things where we just need to fucking do. And I think if we had treated polio the same way we treated COVID, I think we'd be fucking dead. But I don't think we would have made it this far. And to all of you people who treat the vaccine like it's a joke or the science isn't real, my wife's a nurse, and it scares the shit out of me because it's people like you that are going to get her killed for not treating this serious. And I can tell you from someone who looks at numbers for a living and sees the ramifications not only on my company but the other companies that affect the one that I work at. Um, it's not a joke. Or when the supply and demand things happen, not only with this company but other companies that affect this one. It's not something that if they just went back to work, or if they just did, it's a lot of things that it pisses me off and stresses me out, because if you just did what you were supposed to do, we'd be in a lot better shape. So again, off my rant. It, you know, I there was a thing tonight that a person who had COVID was denied a transplant because he didn't get the vaccine, he didn't get the things he needed to get. Um, I look forward to the day when we can all look back at this and say, I'm glad we're out of it. I went years in poverty where I was working two jobs, two full-time jobs. I slept in my car between each job, and I was basically working for a paycheck just to bounce, just to bounce, just to bounce, just to bounce. Going out to eat was not even a luxury. Buying comic books was not a luxury. Looking at the comic books was a luxury, but I had always put shit back. And I can look at that now and be like, I'm glad I'm not there. And I hope that one day we can all look back at this and go, I'm glad we no longer have to have this discussion. Because I'm tired of having it. I'm tired of my friends dying. And I'm tired of having to listen to people in ignorance say stupid things. That being said, let's move on. So Jodert says, my favorite Klingon. He is the best Klingon, isn't he? Daniel Vance says, Star Trek Picard Season 2, release date February 2022. Yes. Yeah, I think we were talking about earlier the DVD, but yeah, Star Trek Picard season 2 is coming to Paramount Plus February 2022. So awesome! It's not March; it is February. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Adam says Star Trek Picard season 2 is right around the corner with its premiere episode slated to drop Paramount Plus on Thursday, March 3rd. Oh, okay. Well, awesome. Well, I mean, either way, end of February, beginning of March, fucking awesome. I mean, it's I'm excited because I want to see Q back. I want to see what this new timeline thing is about. I think that's the thing is like we are so confused on like what is going on here. You know, obviously with Guinan coming back, you've got timelines galore. you know, I mean, I think it's going to answer a lot of questions we've had for 25 years. you know, and I'm excited about that. You know, and that's the thing. It's like first season, I'm so confused. I was a little disheartened because it's like I didn't like that ending. Give me something. Give me something that I can enjoy. Um, you know, because I didn't like that first season very much. There was a lot more that I disliked than I liked. The characters being one of it, because I don't feel like we spent enough time with them. So with this, I really don't know if season 2 is necessarily the season you want to have an entire season out of. You know, the fish out of water type vibe. You know, because I don't feel like we know the characters good enough to have this. Um, I feel like if we got the next gen crew back for this, it would be like, oh wow, awesome, you know. But I don't feel like we know this crew well enough. I feel like we could do this. I feel like we could do that with the Discovery crew, but we kind of did that with jumping into the 32nd century. So I feel like this isn't necessarily the best environment to show these people. But then again, maybe that's the best way to show. Hey, they're in the fish out of water is the best way to explore these characters. You know, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping it's good, and I hope they fix the problems that they had with the first season. So Joe says, cool. I didn't go to the store for a year, so I figured I missed it. No, no. Joe says, big dog in the house. He is. He really is. You know, nobody really bugs me. Watch the next one to walk through the door is going to be that burglar. Like, I'm going to get you now, fat man. Joe Dirt says, now the Facts of Life theme song's in my head. You take the good, you take the bad. right, right. So when Sean Bond says hello from Sask, Canada. Well, hello there for one Sean Bond. Joe Dirt says hi, one Sean Bond. Colin Barrett says one of Star Trek's core principles is the IDIC, infinite diversities and diversities. There's no B. Infinite diversity and infinite combinations. See, I felt like I was going to get tongue-tied there. Maybe there's a little bit more than just raspberry tea in my cup. I don't know. Steve Atwell says, one Sean Bond, howdy. I hope to come visit Canada again one day. Steve says, I left several Trek groups because of the negative nonsense. And there's so much of it, man. There really is. You know, that's one reason, like, I keep the promenade. Like, I keep it family friendly. Like I always say, no real world politics, no real world religion. And then you always get the occasional asshole who's like, what if we're talking about Deep Space Nine and it gets into how Dukat is really the symbolism for this and this is real. And I'm like, look, man, if I got to start going through and deleting comments because you started some shit because of the parallels between I'm gonna fucking boot you out because I don't. No, I mean we can talk about Kai Wynn being fucking crazy nut job cultist leader like that's that as long as it stays true to like the Bajoran shit. Hey, I'm all for it because I love discussing that shit. But as soon as it starts tiptoeing into real world shit, yep, I'm gonna fucking boot that person and I'm gonna fucking boot you. So don't do it. Don't do it because everybody knows I'm very political, or at least can be. I'm not now because it's like I've kind of stepped off that shit. So I don't want my heart to give out because my health's not too good. So I don't discuss those things much anymore. But as soon as you bring that shit here, no, you're out. I don't even discuss it. I'm just like, no, go. So, and that's the way a lot of those places are. They wait for someone to egg them on, and then they're like, no, let's fight. I don't know why they do that. It's just, come on, man. I mean, on your deathbed, are you going to be thinking, man, I wish I spent more time with my wife, or man, I wish I had called my brother one more time, or man, I wish I had played ball with my son a little more. Or are you going to be thinking, man, that fucking troll in that group, I got to go sit there and dislike his comment. Oh, where's my phone? I gotta dislike his comment. You know, like nobody's gonna be thinking that. So what does it fucking matter? Just fucking boot him out of the group, move on, or fucking block him, fucking move on. Like who cares? You know, I don't know why people don't have that mentality. You know, fucking idiots. The world's full of fucking idiots. Steve Atwell says Vance needs to release the DVDs. You know, I really wish I could. I would love, I would love to be able to sell them and put it out, like be like, hey, here's Vance's store, like on the store with my shirts. I'd love to be able to say, hey, here's my DVDs too. Feel free to buy them. Can't. I can't, because then it becomes the type of shit that they got in trouble for. You know, so now I go to such great lengths to be like, nope, hey, talk to Jim. He makes them all at cost, and here you go. And I always go through the same spiel. I feel like a broken record, you know, because it's not me. It's Jim. It's at cost. He doesn't make any money. There you go. You know, and it never passes to me. So if CBS ever says, fat man, we're going to take away a pizza roll, I'm like, I'm chewing away. Go to him. No money passes my hands. I don't make a profit, you know. So no, we do release DVDs, but not officially and never at profit, you know. So Joe Dirt says, I'm 150 miles away from Canada, never been there. Oh, that's within drive distance. That's like between me and Kansas City. It's is it Kansas City? That's about 100 miles. Yeah, about 100 miles. Yeah, okay. So yeah, a couple hours away. It's a long walk. That's what you're saying. It's a friendly hitchhike, is what you're saying, huh? I arrived, or I started normal, but I arrived with a rainbow wig and a clown nose. Don't ask. All right. Canada was never the same after that. Joe says, I got a few monitors I can donate. Hey, man, dude, speaking of, someone fucking sent me a TV and I don't know who. And I put it on Facebook. Hey, has anyone sent me anything? If so, inbox me, let me know. Someone fucking sent me a TV, like one of those ones you put up on the wall, like one that I could put up here. I don't know who. Like, and this is a nice TV. Who fucking do, like, I was like, Mona, did you buy a TV? Because we've been talking about buying like a big screen, and it wasn't that big, but like I'm sitting there like, because I walked out because I was gonna have hot chocolate with Royce. I could put marshmallows because he likes marshmallows. I don't, because I don't really taste all that well, like normally, not because of COVID shit, but like normally, I like the texture. Like I feel like a Vorta, because like I've never really been able to taste well. Like, you know, when you breathe, and like when you shut your mouth and you breathe, you're like, um, I feel like a booger almost came out my nose. But you know when you breathe and like you kind of get the sense of smell, and like that's how I taste. Like if I close my eyes and stick something in my mouth, I don't know what it is. Came out wrong, but like that's how I taste, and like, so I don't put marshmallows because the texture is just fucking, it dissolves weird, and the way it interacts with it, it's the, so I don't, no, but he loves it. So I always get the big marshmallows and I tear them up because he thinks it's funny because I'm destroying a marshmallow. I don't know why he always giggles at that. I don't know why. I think it was, oh, he laughed at that after Ghostbusters, so I think that's something to do with that. But he won't tell me why. I don't know. I don't know. I think my kid's kind of weird because we've been playing Ultimate Spider-Man and throwing people in the river. Um, strange kid. Anyway, so but so I went out to go have marshmallow, hot chocolate on the back porch, and there's a fucking TV there. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What? And for anyone who's like gonna falsely claim, tell me, you got to tell me where it came from first. So don't falsely claim that you got it for me, because I'll fucking call you out on the bullshit. Because I don't do that. But I already put it out there. Like, hey Mona, did you buy this? She's like, no. Why would I do? I would have told you. I'm like, yeah. Well, this won't fit in our front room. This is small, but it's perfect size for this. So I'm like, did someone buy this for my ready room for like a monitor, or did they buy it for my gaming? Like, what the fuck is this? Someone bought me a TV. So I mean, like, speaking of monitors to donate, like someone did. Like, and I don't know who. And because I'm used to people buying me stuff and be like, hey, if you can use this for your film, we donate. Here you go. Thanks. But like, I don't know who. And I'm confused because I'm like, Like, this isn't like we looked up, and like, it's an expensive one, and I don't know. I'm beside myself. Anyway, I digress. It blew my fucking mind. Like, what? Anyway, so Steve says, I've been told by Star Trek fans, why is New Trek so political, so woke, so liberal? Tell them you're like 50 years late with that. Eh, yeah. We all look through things through like, that's a show for another time. I can't get into everyone. Everything's always a matter of perspective. I can't understand how some people don't look at classic Star Trek and see the contradiction of their values with classic Trek, and then look at modern Trek and go, yeah, this is just a continuation. I don't understand that. However, everybody in their own way can justify how they feel and why their values are the way they are. So people, at the end of the day, people are people. And that's why, and that, like, realistically, like, that's why it bothers me that we used to be a people that could that this side and this side could always walk and meet in the middle and come to a compromise, and why we're no longer that way, because it tarnishes what we used to be as a nation and as a people, or at least what I thought we were. When I look at us now, that's not like, this is not what my father fought for in the Navy. And I know that that's not what many of you guys have fought for, regardless whether you're in, the police department or the fire department or in the military. Um, I know that you guys fight for the freedom of individual rights, of compromise, of both sides of the extreme, because it's like a marriage. The husband is not always right, the wife is not always right, or for those that are gay, both wives are not right, or both husbands aren't right, or whatever it is for the non-binary. Forgive me, I don't mean to offend. I am ignorant on, I don't know what it's called. I'm simply, I don't know, but both people, uh, for two people, even if you're just friends, one person is not always right. You have to have compromise. And it disturbs me so much that we can't compromise with our friends and meet in the middle. And it scares the hell out of me, because the way we're going, the pendulum's over here and we're swinging over here now to the extreme. And now we're going to swing back over there next time for the extreme. And we're going to swing back over here for, we can't be that way, or shit's going to fall apart. And one day we will be at each other's throats, and we're going to have to pick that side. And I don't want that. I don't want to fight with any one of you. I don't want anyone to fight with me. I don't want this to be that. I don't think any one of us do. And I live for the day where it's not that way. I think we all realistically do, regardless of if we agree with abortion or we don't agree with abortion, regardless of what we feel on a personal level. I think we all would look out for each other. If somebody was pulling a gun on someone else, I think we would all try to help that person. If we were bleeding out in the middle of the street, I think we would all do what we could to help that person get the help they needed. If they were in a car accident, I think we would help them get to the hospital. I have to believe that. I can't think that we would turn our back on people. I can't. I didn't bring my son into this world thinking that we were going to give up. And I can't raise him to be that person. And I always tell him that good guys always win. And I've been stabbed in the back by so many fucking people. And I continue to tell my son that good guys always win. And I will. I'll always tell him that because I don't want him to live in a world where that hope is gone. Even though the world is turning to shit around me. And every day I go to work, I'm so fucking tired and I'm so fucking stressed of that shit. Global warming, fucking pandemics, fucking political crap. I feel like our government has failed. But I still believe in the goodness of people. I don't feel like that has been, I don't feel like that trust has been misplaced. I still believe in Star Trek. So Joe Dirt says, I will make a Facebook page tonight or tomorrow. Still never got around to it. Well, make one. Um, it's it can be a great thing or a bad thing. Colin says Voyager was an excellent concept, poorly executed, largely because the studio decided to play it safe, and that's always been the studio's thing. You know, look at Enterprise. You know, uh, the worst things have always been because of a studio interfering. Look at Spider-Man 3. Yeah, or yeah, Spider-Man 3. Uh, Joe Dirt says, Steve, so true. Steve says, jealous. I think you're talking about my mask. Steve says, prosthetics can be bought at eBay, not too expensive. Yeah, but flip side of the coin, I don't have the time for makeup. I really don't. I don't have the time to put it on. I mean, I barely have the time to get people over here to film. It's easy just to put on the mask, and then it's up to the imagination of the people. Because you don't even need, with the people that put on the mask in Star Trek Into Darkness, those people didn't even really need any makeup or nothing, except for the one guy. Everyone else could have just put on the masks and that was it. Because I mean, it hides. I mean, this fucking hides it really well. I mean, put this on. I blah. I mean, he looks pissed. Put the right lighting. You have the Klingon costume. It sells itself. You got the batleth over there. You have that, Klingon coming at you. Blah. You know, I mean, it sells itself. It's a great thing. That's something you just put on. Put the costume on, put the mask on. I don't have to worry about prosthetics. Or blending in makeup, trying to make it look decent in some capacity. But that, when you make a fan film, especially when you have, you're going outside in the element, um, it's something that you have to really take into account time, especially when you're dealing with multiple people. If it's just you, yourself, it's easy to do it. Take your time, make it look good. If you're dealing with multiple things, multiple factors, especially when weather's one of those elements, you got to look at what's easiest. So, uh, that being, Joe says, we understand, Vance. We don't know. Yeah, that's the thing I love about you guys is, yeah, I don't expect you guys to agree with me on everything. I never do, but I do believe you all are good people. Colin says my favorite saying is facts are facts, or opinion are of facts are irrelevant to the facts. No, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Adam says vaxxed and boosted here, trying to make my way through this COVID riddled Oklahoma. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's same way here. Uh, numbers are rising 400%, and you still have people who are ignorantly going, "Oh man, this thing's nothing." What? How can you fucking say that? When they shut down part of the hospital and they're moving on people to the other. Nope, can't be here. Got to go to the other one. What? Fuck, seriously? And then you got people who have been affected by COVID, um, know people who have been, who have died from COVID, and they still say, "Oh, it's someone's choice." Really? Then why don't we treat people? Why don't kids who have lice? Why aren't they? Why don't we treat kids who have lice the same way then? If it's their choice, why do we take the kids out of school? I mean, I don't fucking get the common sense factor. Um, I just fuck, you know, if kids have lice, you take them out of school. Why can't we have the same thing with the COVID thing? It's just it blows my fucking mind that these people they sit there. You know, Adam says I stay home a lot. Yeah, no, it's the same thing with me, man. I don't travel much. And when I do travel, like I am very cautious. Like a lot of my friends. JD says, "Hey Vance, showing up late, having some fun." We're trying to, man. We're talking about, well, we were talking about uniforms, and but then now we're just talking about Trek in general. We're talking about some COVID stuff, but yeah, we're talking about Trek in general. So yeah, having a good time. At least I think we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, yeah, that Jade, Jade. Let me go back here. JD's Customs. To all of you guys in the chat, if you guys remember the Playmates toys, this cat right here, he makes his own custom Star Trek Playmates toys. And that's one of the things that I'll be doing on my channel, is showing some of my custom Playmates toys. We both, JD and I are both fans of a Star Trek show called Look at My Star Trek Toys. And I would recommend any one of you guys, if you guys are a fan of the Playmates toys from the 90s, go look that show up. Just type it in, Look at My Star Trek Toys. And I think it's KTE Entertainment, I think it is the channel. But just type it in, Look at My Star Trek Toys, and you'll find any one of those, because I got a bunch of fucking videos. But JD and I are both fans of that show. But that's where I met JD. And this guy is talented as hell about making his own customs. Go click on his channel and subscribe to his channel, or watch his. He is so talented. I want to have him on one of my Pizza Roll Diaries, because this guy, as you'll see in my videos, I have my way of customizing. He has his way. And I wish this guy lived closer, because I'd love to. I know I'd have like one of those weekends. Let's break out our toys and play. In fact, I've got one of my. You'll see this on one of the upcoming shows, but I got a customized Geordi right here that I did in the First Contact uniform. Now, they never actually released this Geordi LaForge in custom uniform, or the first custom uniform, in the First Contact uniform. They did Picard, Riker, Data, Worf, and I think it was either Beverly or Troy. I think it was Beverly. I'm not sure. I never really cared much about the women figures, because I was just like, I'm not a girl. Royce said the same thing when we were getting Masters of the Universe figure, and I was like, oh, Sorceress, I'm not a girl. I'm like, he gets it from me. But I got those too, because I was like, I'm a completist on the uniforms. Plus, I make the women figures too. But they never did Geordi, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make Geordi. So I did. And I made this years ago. So yeah. So anyway, so at one point I want to have JD from JD's Customs come on, because he has his own way of doing custom figures, and he's fucking smart. He's good at it. He's good. So anyway, click over to his channel, subscribe, or if you don't feel like subscribing, at least watch one of his videos, 2 of his videos. Show some support, because everybody in this fan community supports each other, and he's good. He's something a little different than what our normal audience does, but it's worth it. It really is. It's good stuff. So Steve Atwell says, there's an annual Trek convention in Vulcan, Alberta, Canada. The whole town is Trek all year long. I think I found my retirement home. That sounds heaven, man. I love it. I love it. Steve Atwell says, Junction City is 130 miles from KC, about 2-hour drive. Yeah, see? You're only getting another 20 miles from one place to what he was talking about. Yeah, yeah. Steve Atwell says, I drive that in my sleep. Well, if you're driving that in your sleep, man, I don't think you'd make it. That might, cops might have a little problem with that. You might get some chafed wrists there, man. Steve says, so if you left a TV sitting on someone's back porch in Junction City and I forgot about it, it's been claimed. No, it's no, it has my name on it. Like it like someone sent it to me. And there's like, I don't have any neighbors. I mean, I have one neighbor, but he's like 87 years old. He didn't send this. I know where it came from, or where it was shipped from. So someone sent it to me. So, because someone sent it to me. So, I suspect what happened is TOS was so successful at putting social issues on the agenda that many of them have been overcome and are no longer issues. Well, that and the fact that from Okay. JD's Custom said partner. Okay, so that's the term then. Okay, earlier I said I wasn't sure what the term was for the non-binary, and he said partner. Okay, then now I see I've learned something. See, and that's one of those things where some people uh they're so easily offended, when I, clearly I don't know, so I'm asking. Bless your heart. Thank you, JD. Thank you. But going back to what Colin said, um, my personal opinion is I think classic Star Trek was so clever in how they approached the issues. The people didn't realize that they were being talked to about those issues, and now I feel like it's a little bit more. It's a little more blunt, a little more in your face, where um, it's just like fuck this again. Because even me, and I'm very liberal. I'm about as liberal, liberal as they come. And even I sit there and go, God damn it, this again. Um, and I don't mind subtle things as long as it's told well. But even for me, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And that was one of the things that turned me off about the Batwoman series was it was so in your face. All the men suck. If you're a woman, you're empowered and all that. Like, and it was just, but the one thing about the Batwoman series, and Loki can attest to this because I've him and I have talked at great lengths back in the day about this, was when the series started. First off, the lady who played Batwoman and Ruby Rose and her girlfriend, they were in the army, and the only thing you really saw of those people, like every flashback, was just them kissing and making out, and there was no substance. Like there was no, like, if it was me as a storyteller, as a filmmaker myself, I would have had them, sunset walk on the beach, maybe them sitting on a bench, reading books together and maybe kind of flirting a little bit, like one like bumping the arm, and the other one bumping the arm, and the other one bumping like stuff like that people do in real life, something that's kind of cutesy, artsy fartsy cutesy type stuff. Then maybe, one's, you know, maybe popping popcorn while the other one's watching TV, and maybe someone's just like throwing popcorn, kind of fucking with the other one, stuff that you're like, these people are obviously in love and they're having fun, stuff that real couples do. But the only thing you ever saw in the flashbacks of these people was that they're two lesbians kissing, making out. No offense. I'm a middle-aged guy. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see that if they're two hetero people making out. I don't want to fucking see that anywhere. I go to the mall and I see that and I'm like, fuck, will you go get a room? I don't want to see that shit. Um, so the only thing I knew about this couple is, okay, they know how to kiss. I don't care. That doesn't show me you're in a relation. That doesn't show me that this is your love, because physical attraction doesn't mean love. Show me why they are in love. Show me. And they didn't. So to me, it was just all in my face. And then for her, when Lucius Fox says the suit, it's literal perfection, which I'm like, no, the suit looks like garbage. But then Ruby Rose says, no, it will be with a woman's touch or whatever, whatever she said. And I'm like, so she steals his suit, and then she acts like everything's her, that she's owed everything. And I'm like, oh, so you act like men suck on every level, but yet you stole Batman's suit. So again, everything was just like in my face, in my face, in my face. This is, and every man in that show was written like they were an idiot. To me, when you're going to write about an issue, subtlety goes a long way. Look at DS9. They wrote very heavy religious issues, very ahead of its time, especially for Star Trek. They had, I think the first lesbian kiss on TV. Again, ahead of its time, just like for Kirk and Uhura, first biracial kiss, I believe, on TV. Ahead of its time. All these things. Subtlety. Batwoman. In your face. Oh, shit. My dog. he loves to jump on the couch and get right in my face and give me kisses. And I'm like, oh, enough. And that's these shows. And I feel like modern Star Trek does that a lot. Let's get in their face. Let's beat them over the head with it. So I feel like they're trying way too hard. Don't do that. Your audience is smart. They get it. And especially in the age of information, where we get that from everywhere else. We get that from news. We get that from school. We get that from home. We don't need that from our Star Trek, from our entertainment. Be subtle. And show some goddamn joy. You know, that's just my thought. So, Steve Atwell says, one of my Patreon dietaries is the Monkey King, the Buddha of victory through suffering, or rather the eternal hope. Always keep the faith. The world will sort itself out eventually. It's my hope. Joe says, heartfelt conversation, Vance. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. KME. JD says KME. Yeah, not KTE. KME. You're absolutely right. Yes. JD says, gonna be doing displays soon. That Geordi looks great. Thank you, my friend. I am so excited. Doing the look at my Star Trek watching the look at my Star Trek toys. Just having that one time where he shared the couple of our customs, both Keith and I think Mike. I'm terrible with names, as you'll find out. That really made me reinvigorate my passion for customs, because I could send you all the pictures of the customs I've done. I think I've got 90 or so customs, and I plan to look at each one of them, because it's so fun to just sit there and do the close-ups and look at all this, and then do the pictures. Which on StreamYards it's limited on what I can do, but it's it reinvigorated my passion for, hey, let me share this. And dude, I don't care if nobody watches it. It's like I just love sharing and talking, but it's so much fun. And I mean, I met you, man. Someone I never would have met, and watching your stuff, like I love it, because with the world being in the fucking shape that it's in, it's nice to be able to see like-minded people come together over something as fucking goofy, like a 20-year-old, 30-year-old fucking, action figure. How fucking cool is that? I love it. I'm very excited about the new ones coming out, because I can't wait to get those for Royce and then give it to him for fucking Christmas and be like, here you go, man. Here's your own fucking Captain Picard. So, and he already loves Saru. He was like, oh, his feet look weird. I was like, that's what you noticed? Like, really? But that alien, his feet look weird. I'm like, all right, man. Oh man, because when he was younger, like 2 years old, he'd wear his mom's high heels. I'm like, oh. And I was looking at Saru's shoe. I'm like, oh. He's gonna fucking kill me with a high heel. Just stop talking shit, Dad. Oh my goodness. So Steve says, sounds like the TVs from Santa. Yeah, right. So JD says, so my buddy and I were having a similar conversation recently because of the movie Don't Look Up. Everyone is complaining that the story isn't subtle, but what I see is that a lot of people now, as they refuse to see what is literally right in front of us, that we need to put the messaging right in the front. I know it seems blunt, but it's also what is needed to communicate that message. No, and that's the thing, man. I wish you weren't right. That movie, anybody who's not seen Don't Look Up, go to fucking Netflix and watch that movie. I watched probably about half of it, maybe 2/3 of it, and I got so fucking depressed. I was like, nope, I can't finish this. And then I got on YouTube maybe about a week later, and it randomly popped up, because you all know how Google fucking listens to you on your phone and records everything. Where's my aluminum hat? Yeah, it randomly popped up on YouTube, the ending of Don't Look Up. Like, watch the ending. I was like, fuck it, I'll watch. I never went back to it. I meant to, but you guys know how busy I get. So like, fuck it, I'll watch the ending, because then I don't gotta go back to the film. Because I literally got fucking, like, how close to home this hit me. Of like, God damn it, we got a lot of stupid motherfuckers. God damn it. It's like, I can't go back. This is, my anxiety is, uh, where's my heart medication? I felt, I felt like that. I felt like the elder Stanford, like, oh, you know. So I was like, I can't go back, but I was like, fuck it, I'll watch the ending. That ending, I'm like, dude, like I expected something like that, but still, just to see that, I was like, uh, damn. And then the after credits, and I was like, damn, shit. So, dude, everybody, go watch that movie. It's disturbing because it's like, dude, I know that person. I know that person. Yep. Clicked on the TV, seen that person. Yep, we know that. Oh, yeah, I know that person. God damn. God damn. I fucking hate it. It's like you ever see the movie Idiocracy? I never knew that movie was a documentary. But like this is like the step between now and Idiocracy. Like this is the missing chapter. It's like, oh yeah, we're moving there. Like, God damn it, no! It's so scary. And it's kind of like in Fight Club when Tyler's talking to himself. He's like, "There's a sick desperation in your laugh." That's this. That's that laugh that I'm doing. I wish it wasn't true. See, I'd recommend that movie because it's fucked up. Y'all are gonna get us killed. Don't do it. So anyway, so Colin says there were a few moments in Discovery when I thought to myself, Star Trek fans were the pioneers of social tolerance stories. Why are we now the ones being lectured here? It was just a bit too blunt. And I can see that. I can see that. I really, I can. To me, to me, the, to me, maybe I didn't really, I didn't really care about the being preached to as much as I did her fucking crying. Like, stop crying like that. I don't know. Nothing bothered me except for her cry. Everything else is like, okay, if that's the story you want to tell, all right, I'm all right. I mean, to me, it's like, I don't pay for my Paramount Plus. I'm on my friend's account. I'll never pay for it, so I don't care. It's fine. So I'll watch it, you know. Um, that being said, okay. If that's the story you want to tell, it's not the story I would tell. I know there's plenty of people there's plenty of people who like it, plenty of people who don't. The only thing about these days with the internet is it just gives us a chance to be more vocal about things we love and things we hate. Sadly, there's too many people who just can't let shit go. Like, everyone here can make arguments for why we like it and make arguments for why we don't. At the end of the day, I think all of us would agree to disagree, and then we'd go our separate ways. And, none of us would be like, that fucking JD or that fucking Colin. None of us would be like that. We'd be like, so you liked it. All right. Or, you hated it. All right, what's for dinner? It's okay. Or, JD was like, hey, I like that Jordy. That was awesome. Cool. Thanks, man. He could have been like, oh, man, you only gave him a mustache. You forgot to put the fucking beard on. Man, your paint job sucks. I'd have been like, oh, shit. You got me. It's one of those things where it's like we forgot somewhere along the way. It wasn't the preaching that got to me. What got to me was we forgot to laugh. We somehow forgot as a people to fucking just go, okay. Why? Why is everything so angry? Why are we so mad as a people? I mean, because there are some fucked up people out there. There's some real angry motherfuckers out there. Why are we joining in that? Why? As Star Trek fans, why? I mean, cause I can look at Voyager and go, I don't like it. They put out some good episodes. I love Year of Hell. I love that one episode. In fact, we watched it was it yesterday or the day before? Again, time has no meaning to me because I always work overnight. My mind is just, I sleep when I can, and it's whatever. But it was that one episode where Tuvok does the training video, and then it's a Seska episode, and okay, it's a Seska episode, and but I love that episode, and that was where I told him, I was like, when Voyager, I hate Voyager, but when they do it right, they do it right. But I can look at it and go, this was good. It's not my Star Trek though. I don't like it. Enterprise, same way. I hate the first two seasons. I mean, there was a couple good in the second episode or second season, but there was even fewer in the first one. But I love that third season. I think that's some of the best Trek all around. Fourth season, I love the continuity between that and the TOS. I love it. I think it's great. I think it has some of the best continuity and best Easter eggs for you long-term Trek fans. I think Manny Coto did a fucking great job. And that's the thing. I think a lot of Trek fans don't know the behind-the-scenes stuff enough to actually comment. I did. I researched. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I love making films so much, is because I know what goes into the shit. How much battery? Okay, good. I got 49%. But somewhere along the way, we forgot to laugh. We forgot to have fun with what we were doing, and forgot the fact that this isn't life. This isn't real life. At the end of the day, I can give a fuck less about Voyager. I give a fuck less about DS9 too. If I never saw it again, I'd be like, all right, let's go get groceries. That's what matters. If my kid has food on his plate, if I got electricity in my house, I don't want to fucking freeze. That matters. How's Steve doing? Is his health doing good? Like, how's my friend Steve? How are all my friends doing here? Their real life. How are they doing? That matters. That's real. These fictional shows, they don't fucking matter. I mean, they're great to have, and it's something we can conversate about. But at the end of the day, does someone's opinion of a show that isn't real, does that matter? No, it doesn't. And these people that are fighting these private wars on shows that don't matter, no wonder we're in the shape that we're in. Holy cow. Like I said, idiocracy. We're getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, Joe Dirt says my favorite Trek is DS9. Fucking amen, brother. I love it too. You are now my new favorite person. Outside JD, because he liked Majority. So, you two are up for, you guys can mud wrestle for me. Steve Atwell says technically Desi and Lucy were a biracial couple, so he had the first interracial kissing before Star Trek. Shenanigans! Don't take my victory away from me, Steve. All right, don't bother me with technicalities. JD says, and actually DS9 was 6 months after Ellen for the lesbian kiss, and to be fair, Kirk and her weren't actually the first interracial kiss, but it was primetime being semantic. So don't take it out. See, oh my goodness, V-Man and his fake facts on fake news. Oh my goodness. JD says, seriously. Steve Atwell says, I want a Korath custom figure. Well, we don't do, I've only made, for fan film people, I've only, for those that remember, I have made 2 fan film custom figures. And this is when I first started, when I was hired on for Michael to be Menard for Valiant. And I made a custom of Bishop, and I made a custom of his chief of security, which is his friend Caleb, who works with Michael. So I made a custom of those 2 people. And I have the pictures actually still, and I got to make another one for Caleb because Caleb, someone stole it from him, which I'm like, why would you steal a Playmates action figure? But then I remembered, oh yeah, sorry, because Playmates figures are fucking awesome. But no, like it's really weird because like I customized the box like I normally do. I customized everything like I normally do. Why would you steal a customized figure of a friend? Like that's just weird to me. Like what? But I was like, fuck yeah. I mean, when I have time, I absolutely will do it. Because to me that's one of those, sure. I don't know. I don't know when I'll find the time, and I don't ever make promises that I can't keep. So I will see what I can do at some future point. I'd love to do it. Sure, I'd love to, but I make no promises on when or if I can. But just know that whenever there's a request for something like that, I'd love to, because that is that is one of those things that I love to do in detox mode. This is the figure right here that I still have the box, but I am customizing a Battle Armor He-Man, and I still got to put the second coat on the actual armor itself. But this is the Battle Armor He-Man that I'm customizing for my brother-in-law, and I was supposed to get it done by Christmas. As you guys have seen, I haven't got it done yet. But we have two figures that we always do. We have a Hulk Hogan and Sting 2-pack called Clash of the Champions that we always jokingly give back to each other on our birthdays. And then like I'll for his birthday I give it to him. My birthday he gives it back to me, and that's something we've done 20 years now, 25 years. No, 20 since 98. So that'd be like 24 years, 20, 23 years. Yeah, about 23 years, because about a year afterwards, because he got me back into wrestling. And I didn't realize that Sting was not the flat top surfer looking Sting. I didn't know he was the crow looking guy. And I didn't know that Hulk Hogan had turned bad and, was Hollywood Hogan for, the NWO. So all that shit blew my mind. I was like, what? So that one 2-pack has been between us, birthdays. And then every year for Christmas, when it, becomes available, I will repaint a He-Man figure in fake, to be either Faker or Wendar in some fashion. This year was the like I said, the origin, Master of the Universe Origins. It'll be Battle Armor Faker. So, but yeah, I mean, that's why I say I can never make promises, because that was supposed to be his Christmas present. It'll now honestly probably be more of a, hey, this is a late spring Christmas present. Now that the snow has melted, look what's under the snow. So it's something I love to do. Steve says no spoilers, please. I think this comment is behind. JD says, ever seen Idiocracy? I feel like if day doesn't go by that we're see, JD, this is why see, this is why like I need to stay up on my ping 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 ping, because I always get behind on my comments from people. Yeah, no, see, you and I think a lot alike, brother. Yeah. Joe says not sure. Steve says Michael Burnham was raised Vulcan, finally embraces her humanity side. Advances, quit crying. First off, she always acts pissed off. I never believed that she was in any way Vulcan, except for one scene with Giorgio. Outside that, she never even closely emulated a Vulcan. So I don't buy it. No, I don't like the character of Michael Burnham. Nope, don't buy it. So nope. And yeah, Michael, quit fucking crying. I mean, they had to hire like 5 fucking janitors to mop up all the tears in the hallway because of how much she cried. So no, I don't buy it. JD says, I don't know, people react that way to me all the time. Says, nah, they're worst paint jobs, lol. Want to know the one pet peeve I have? Custom figures that I want to grab every baker and scream in their face. Blonde hair is not yellow. See, the best way, and I do this with a lot of my fakers. This is the first one that I didn't. And you'll see on the other ones, I always paint the hair black first, or a brownish, and then I paint like the hair orange or red on Faker. Therefore, it gives a different shade. Kind of like with my hair, like you see the different shades. And you're absolutely right. It's not just like fucking frosted blonde. And it's the same thing. If you're going to do He-Man, go with it brown undertone first and then paint yellow on top. Therefore, it gives it kind of a different shade of color. And that's the best way to do blonde. A dark mustard color on top of brown will give it a different shading color. And that's the best way to do realistic hair. But you're absolutely right. It's not yellow. if you're trying to go for realistic hair, like I said, this was the first time that I did faker with bright red because I've never done that before on my faker. Like I said, usually I'll color it black hair and then I'll go over with red. Therefore, it gives a kind of a realistic shading of hair, and then the overtop, and I go over it very light, almost like a and obviously you being customizer, you'll know exactly how to go over that because you do the same thing. Um, but instead of globbing on the paint, and that's people glob on paint a lot, and that's something else you can't do, especially when you're doing hair. You can't do that. But I mean, it gives you, it really gives you, if you do an undertone first and set that up, and then go over it, it gives you a much nicer look for hair that looks it looks wonderful. At least I feel so. Adam says Janeway's voice was highly annoying to me, and that made Voyager a hard watch. Loved her in Orange Is the New Black, though. Oh, she was fucking great in Orange Is the New Black. She ruled that show. It made me wonder, going into Prodigy, if she could handle Janeway, because I'm like, man, I really have a hard time seeing there's anything else now, because of how good she was in that show. And that, again, I have a hard time thinking. I have a hard time typecasting people because, as an actor myself, it's like, look, I've done other things besides Bernard. I'm not fucking Bernard, even though Bernard is very much, who I am. As a person, that's why I like to play the Phantom, because the Phantom is 100% not me. I'm not I'm not going around stabbing people and talking the way he talks and whatnot, and being that kind of psycho killer pervert. Same thing. I'm not the Kelvin Menard because I'm not a godly, spiritual, calm, wise man. That's certainly not me. Um, but I hate typecasting people, but it was hard not to do it with the way she was in Orange Is the New Black because she was very, very powerful in that role, I would say. But she pulls it off nicely, and that's one of the things that people, when they give Robert Pattinson kind of a shit for being in Batman, and oh man, the Twilight guy, sparkling guy, he's gonna be Batman. I'm like, you do fucking realize he's played in other things besides fucking Twilight, right? Like, go watch his shit. Like, seriously, go watch his shit, and then get back to me on it, because that's what's called acting. It's not like he's been sparkling since he was like 6 years old and running around and that's not how life works. People, they're actors for a reason. So it bothers me when people do typecast because they're usually pretty good, and I'm excited. So I'm, yeah. So Colin says, I blame social media. It's been weaponized. I don't buy into conspiracy theories, but what I hear from people who develop the platforms like Facebook, I'm very scared about where this will end up. No, I completely agree. I think when we stop looking at people as people, and more as numbers, I fear. And sadly, people, people stop looking at others as, these are people I know. These are people that I love. And like I said earlier, if somebody was dying on the street, wouldn't we save them? If they were in a car wreck, wouldn't we go and help them? It doesn't matter what their religious belief is. It doesn't matter what their political beliefs are. It doesn't matter where they stand on abortion. It doesn't matter where they, no matter how far left or how far right. I would like to think that we would help them. I have to believe that. If because I never used to like Superman because everybody wrote him as this overpowered this overpowered alien that could blow out the sun with like a birthday candle, and I couldn't relate to that. But I loved the show Smallville because I could relate to that character. Someone who struggles with the day-to-day life, and he, at the end of the day, it's not about his superpowers, even though he has them, but it has to do with the human decisions that he has to make on a daily basis. And one, I always found it ironic because I used to wear a red hoodie all the time and a blue shirt. And I always found that funny because he did the same thing. And I was like, they fucking ripped off my look, except he wasn't wearing a Hawaiian punch hat all the time. And I've been doing that ever since fucking, ever since middle school. Um, and I used to grow up on a ranch too, you know. Um, so I love the fact that, oh, I can relate to this guy. But I think now, um, like we really could look at those ideals that Superman, not the overpowered Kryptonian side of him, but what would Superman, how would he react to these things? That decent moral goodness that he has. Um, I think there's a lot of truth to that, and that's how I've raised Royce to be. And granted, I don't put the pressure on him like you're going to save the sun world or you're going to save the world, son. I don't do that to him, but I always do tell him, good guys always win. And it's kind of like I kind of feel bad because like he doesn't like eating. Like we play Ultimate Spider-Man, and we just now switched to the Venom side. Um, and he won't eat the people. He's like, nope, good guys don't do that. Now he'll throw the cars because he finds that fun, but he doesn't like eating the people. He's like, no, I don't want to. I mean, he'll do it from time to time because I'm like, dude, they're gonna kill you if you don't. You're gonna run out of life if you don't fucking eat somebody. Like you've got to get your energy back, son. Like, and he's like, okay, and he'll do it, but he doesn't like it, And he's like, let me throw some cars. I'm like, but the cops are gonna shoot you. He's like, that's okay. I just want to throw cars. Okay, But that's the thing. It's like But I've told him so many times, like, good guys always win. And I'm like, son, the cops are going to shoot you, right? He's like, that's okay. They're the good guys. And I'm like, threw that shit back in my face. Oh man, he slam dunked me. I couldn't argue that point. But it's one of those things where you're absolutely right. Like we've seen on Facebook where everything's been weaponized. Someone doesn't agree with us, they're the bad guy. And I've always felt nobody should be the bad guy unless they personally attack you. That's the only time they'll ever get the block from me, where I'm just like, fuck it, block. And that's just because that shit right there is toxic. If you're going to personally attack me, attack the argument that I make. Absolutely attack the argument. Attack it. Give me the facts. Let's discuss it. Because I always love, I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes. My opinions will be wrong sometimes, but let's discuss it. Because I didn't get to my opinions now by everyone agreeing with me. I used to be, most people don't know, but I used to study to be a pastor for 5 years. And, I used to be a real heavy Christian. I studied to be a pastor for 5 years. I've studied several religions because I didn't want to just know what I believed. I wanted to know what all these other religions believed and how to debunk them. But I didn't get to be an atheist now by never having those conversations with people. I think we should be holding conversations. I think our beliefs should be challenged. Not on a daily basis because I everyone needs a break, but I think we should challenge ourselves. But I think the moment you make a personal attack, that's the moment you've lost the right to have that conversation. And especially if you're going to attack like someone's family members, like, their kids, their wife. No, the conversation's over. We're done. That's a level of disrespect. We're done. But not everyone that disagrees with you is an enemy. And Facebook, Twitter, whatever else other platforms there are, it is weaponized these days. YouTube chat, it's everything. How many times do we just see trolls? That's all they want to do. Absolutely right. Absolutely. JD says, yeah, and yeah, I love Voyager. To be honest, I typically skip seasons 1, episode 3 through 15. Yeah, it's not all that good. Like I really hated the fact that like the first 2 or 3 episodes were like had to do with like temporal stuff. It's like what? And to be honest, I thought the first like season or 2 could have been really great with building the tension between the Maquis. It could have been fucking epic, but they didn't go that route. Could have been great. but I felt like they had, as Mona's been watching Voyager, I've seen a lot more gems than I did the first few times that I watched it, but looking at it through her eyes and it's been okay. But yeah, it's there's quite a few diamonds in that rough, but it's very rough. you know, like I said, it's a show of missed opportunity. If it was written now, it would have been very different. A lot more Battlestar Galactica-esque, which I still say is the best science fiction uh, series ever, lasting 4 seasons. Fucking great. So much character development and everything constantly changing, even from episode to episode. And every episode, you watch one episode and you're like, fuck, that was only an hour? Oh my God. you know, in Voyager, you're like, oh, that was an hour? Oh my God. Like you're saying it for much different reasons. So Joe says, funny, throw the mud in and I'm there. I don't know what we're talking about. See, that's how far behind I am. I'm on all these other rabbit trails, and I'm so far behind on the chats. John L. Grievous says they've done a course correct with season 3 and 4, but the first 2 seasons of Discovery and season 1 of Picard to me missed the point of Trek, which was having a hopeful look at the future. Absolutely right. I think outside of Captain Pike, there's not much hope in season 2 of Discovery. No, you're absolutely right. Hey, Rufus. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Who missed the point? Yeah, that was yeah. Because damn, Lorca. As much as I love Lorca and Lorca's character, which he's one of my favorite captains. And he was the bad guy. I mean, I'm sitting there the whole time, like, he makes a valid point. Fuck yeah, he's a good man. I could definitely see him on Cisco's wall. Man, I might put him up in one of my fan films. And then turns out he's the bad guy. And I'm like, shit. What's that say about me? you, you know, there's not much hope in that early season, though. General Grievous says DS9 touched on a much darker topics and still had a hopeful outlook. No, you're absolutely right. Look at Section 31. That and the thing I like about DS9 was it built the relationships first and told the story second. It didn't do that in the first couple seasons, but about midway through season 2, that's when it started finding its actual footing and doing that. And don't forget, it gave us the best episode of all time. And all of Star Trek. That episode that had the Calamarain. Fuck that episode. Oh man, I need to put that one of my films. It's fucking Menard fucking jumping around, Calamarain, whatever it is. It's fucking man tits bopping up and down. I do that. I need to do that in a thong. JD says, I feel like Disco season 1 could be edited down to 2.5 hour movie. I've debated taking on that project myself, but I think that would be a huge improvement on drag on season 1. Do you edit? Like, do you edit films? Like, do you edit films in general? Um, if you do, like, would you ever be able to edit like a fan film? Because I create films. If you'd ever be able to edit a fan film, hit me up. They're fun projects, and I, yeah, if you'd ever be able to edit something like that, most of them are usually like 10-minute, maybe 20-minute tops. If you'd ever be able to, just let me know. Like, you know, yeah, let me know. I always love working with good people. You're pretty good. Jeter says he just looked like Joe. Not sure. JD says you're talking about dry brushing, and yeah, I actually undercoat with metallic gold and brown shell. Yeah, yeah. No, that's everyone has their own way, and everyone has and that's the thing. Like that's why I think having you on a Pizza Roll Diaries would be fun, because it's like I think you and me would fucking nerd out. You know, again, me doing the my own show called Figure It Out. It's just me talking about why I did certain ones, and why they mean something to me and whatnot, and the what ifs of certain characters, and you know uh it's just me, kind of talking like right now. I ramble and enjoy, and shit pops in my head, and then I go down rabbit trails and whatnot. But it's, I love fucking customizing figures, and I think me bullshitting with you about, your fit, you kind of bringing on some of your figures, and going, look at my toy, and me doing, look at my toy, you know. Two middle-aged guys, pulling out their swag. you know it's I think it'd be a lot of fun, because it's like you get the language. I don't know it. I can barely speak English. I barely remember names. It's I think it'd be a lot of fun. So Steve Atwell says Voyager, I've heard, became good after season 3, or rather after DS9 writers took it over. I don't know if DS9 writers took it over per se, but it certainly became a lot more structured in season 3. They referenced Year of Hell, which was coming up, um, uh, which was good because for me, I'm like, man, I hope we get that. In season, Year of Hell was supposed to actually be all of season 4. We didn't get that, and then it was supposed to be the writers talked it. Uh, Fuck, I'm getting tired. Um, the studio talked them, down and said, okay, we're gonna do, a trilogy. We're not gonna do a full season. And then they were like, well, you know what? No, let's just do a two-parter. And I'm like, fuck, dude. If they had just had the balls to go with like what they did with the Xindi arc and Enterprise, I think Voyager would have been probably my favorite season. And then the other thing that really bothered me is once DS9 went off the air and it was fully established communication with Starfleet, they should have fucking given Voyager those new uniforms. Because I mean, you had all those uniforms in storage. You should have fucking just given it to them because you had nothing to do with them. I really think they should have given them those because I mean I felt like they earned those. And we never got to see them in that. And you should have given us at least a couple episodes, and then back to Earth. I understand the poetic, the symbolism of them flying to Earth in the last shot, but it's one of those things where we didn't get any type of closure. And to me, I felt that was just as uh, unsatisfying as not seeing Tom Welling in the super, as never getting to see him in the actual Superman suit. I mean, you see a little crappy CGI version of him from a distance where you squint and you're like, well, I guess that's kind of him. And you see him rip open the muscle suit. But no offense, I can do that myself, and that doesn't mean I'm in the fucking Superman suit. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, those, both Voyager and Smallville belong in the, worst letdowns of series. And fuck, that might be a video I might do at some time, like my personal letdowns of series, because I think that belongs on the list. JD's Custom says mud wrestling. Oh, since that's how disconnected from everything I'm like, that's such a reference from earlier show. Like, Colin says, I approach life as if I were a member of Starfleet. Things like being respectful to others, whether I agree with them or not, and it pays off. I have a lot less conflict in my life than those around me. No, and that's exactly how I feel. Like anyone that knows me knows I'm not a religious person, and I'm an atheist. I think religion destroys. However, I am respectful to other people's beliefs accordingly because I know Picard was to everyone else's religious belief. I look at the way Cisco treated the Bajoran religion, and the way a Starfleet officer, you're absolutely right. And that's the way I try to also be. And I think we as Star Trek fans should be that way toward each other. I mean, if that's the way that we would pretend if we were on screen, why can't we be that way toward each other in real life? Sadly, people are fucking hypocrites. Adam says, I thought Harry Mudd. Well, I'm pretty hairy. That's not my head, but if we were mud wrestling, you never know. Joe says, gonna head out. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Joe, you too, man. Thank you for joining us. I'll probably cut it short here soon. I've missed talking to you guys. And like I said, I had the fucking night off. I'm on vacation. And I didn't feel like making any videos for upcoming weeks. I felt like just spending time with you guys. Um, like old times. I fucking miss you guys. I love it. I love these, just random bullshit sessions where I get to just chat with you guys. I fucking miss it. So, glad you guys have all joined me. Um, I still need to go watch Prodigy and fall asleep on the couch. General Grievous says, I hate that you did that to us. LOL. Now that song from DS9 is stuck in my head. Right on. JD says, yes, my degree is actual film production, and I currently am working with a friend on some legal videos. Outstanding. That's awesome. Like, I am very curious. Hit me up on Facebook. Like, I'm very curious. Huh. I did not know that about you. I mean, I guess, you and I haven't had enough interaction. I know most everybody in the chat, because we always chat about geeky, nerdy stuff, but that's fucking awesome. Like, you have a degree in actual film production. I don't know the first thing about anything, but everyone always talks like, oh, Vance knows a lot. I'm like, I shoot shit on my cell phone. I don't know nothing. so you probably know more than I do, my friend. I should be bowing down to you. That's awesome though, man. Like, so you were actually working on some videos. That's awesome, man. Awesome. Let's see, General Grievous says, from the research I did on The Reason You Rebel was two-parters that they didn't have the budget and the CGI, and the studio refused to give them more money. Well, if never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Okay, well, bless their heart. I guess the thing is, I think things can be told on a low budget. Like, the thing is, like, the only thing really that needed to be done was like CGI. If you told stories with a low budget CGI and focused more on interpersonal stories, and every time the ship was damaged, the damage stays there. Having pieces of the ship that popped out and then popped in for the next week's, like, the stories are still like that. It's basically like, okay, all of these pieces pop out and are interchangeable. Yeah, you may have to rebuild some stuff, but there you go. You basically reduce your budget down. That's why you have bottle shows. You tell a bunch of bottle shows because, hey, section yada yada isn't fucking up to go. So we're going to tell this show in sick bay. Okay, now we're going to tell this show in engineering. We're going to tell this show. So you have a bunch of shows that are left, and there's your budget right there. So you've got more money for your CGI. I disagree with the studio. You could have very easily made this work and done at least 10 episodes as bottle shows before you actually used the CGI and needed to go. And all you have is like, fuck, we hit a mine. Now we can't go anywhere. Now we're fucking time displacement. Now we can't, like, and a whole bunch of bottle shows where you're doing shit to try to help. Like, the problem with them is they always spent themselves outside of a hole. They always did all that type of stuff. That, what are you doing? So because at that point, the doctor and his his mobile emitter, so he can walk around the ship. So you don't got to reinitialize and do this. And the thing is, like, that type of stuff, it's not that doing the doctor going in and out. So, like, transporter effects are not expensive. Mobile emitter shots are the same thing as transporter effects. That's not expensive. Everyone thinks, oh my God, that's so expensive. It's not expensive. That stuff is not expensive. And CGI effects, those can be expensive because the processing power and whatnot, but that's more time than money. And that you're paying people because of the time that they spend on it. So, I get where that can be time consuming, but like, doing shit like transporter effects and all that stuff, like, okay, so all your money will be going to CGI. All the other stuff, as soon as you build moderately, build pieces that go at a time, but do bottle shows. So I disagree, because everywhere where you would be going to, oh, we're going to go build we're going to go build for this planet. We're going to build for this planet. No, you're basically building Lego pieces for your ship to redo it and then fucking it up and then continuing to go. So I disagree. I don't think that I don't think it would have been that bad. And again, this is coming from a guy who does this stuff all the time, and has to reuse stuff all the time. So I disagree. I don't think the person who made the case made it very well. And I think we could have, because Enterprise is a much more expensive show, and especially in that third season of Enterprise, much more expensive show. What do I know? I make fan films. Daniel Vance says, an unpopular opinion, DS9 is my least favorite series. Vance. Thought I knew you, my friend. I feel like this is our Kirk Spock moment where we both touch the screen and we say our goodbyes. It's all good, man. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you're entitled to be wrong. So it's all good, man. I forgive you. Steve Atwell says, my mind is slipping. I'm losing thoughts before I can tackle them. Ah, dude, man, if you gotta head to sleep, go ahead, man. It's all good. Steve says, Vance, did you get more closure from the end of Voyager or the end of Enterprise? Neither. Honestly, both of them were a fucking disappointment. From Voyager, they should have got home on their own. Honestly, they should have. No time travel bullshit from future fucking Janeway. I hate Janeway anyway as a captain. I think she's a piece of shit. I mean, she broke the Prime Directive how many fucking times? I can't stand her. And then have future Janeway come back and cheat to get them home. I felt discredited the entire series. I felt like, this is now the second fucking season finale or series finale that we've done time travel. Shit, man, this sucks. And then they reused the Borg so many times where I was so sick of seeing them. So we have time travel, which is overused. We have the Borg, which is overused. I was so done with the whole show at that point. I just wish they had gotten home on their own and we got a little bit of closure. Like, even if it was 20 minutes of them talking to somebody, or just let them get home in the episode before the finale and then have them have some closure. Because I'd love to have seen, does Harry get with his girlfriend? Does she go to get promoted to captain? Do they stay together? What happens to Tuvok? Like, what happens? Like, I don't know. And to me, it's just the whole thing was goddamn disappointing because they cheated to get home. I felt like it was disrespectful. Fuck it. And then Enterprise, I've told everybody who has not seen Enterprise that I start them on the series. I'm like, stop watching before the last episode for about a week. And if you want to watch the last episode, watch about a week after. End it on that episode before the last episode. Let that be your impression. Then go watch that final episode. Because at that point you won't let it taint you. You can end the series there and be like, oh, this is a what if. This is a and it won't matter. Because if you watch it consecutively, it'll taint your whole vision of the series. They're like, really? I'm like, do you trust me? Oh, implicitly. Okay. Then trust me on this. Those that don't, and they're like, dude, I continued on and I shouldn't have. Told you. Those that do, they're like, dude, you were right. Yep. Because the last two before the finale are perfect to end the series on. That finale for Enterprise, fuck them. Not good. Not good. So they both were disappointment to me. Because you've cheated the audience out of 7, 7 for Voyager and 4 for Enterprise. You cheated the audience, man. And if it's one thing that I've learned as a filmmaker, don't ever fuck with your audience. And those that love those episodes, what are you thinking? What? Anyway, Adam says, JD, I was actually looking into some local classes of careers in the film industry today. Dude, Adam, you hit me up on Facebook, man. There's if you can't get into any classes, hit me up. I'd love to discuss. I'm pretty sure JD has insights. If you ever have any questions on filmmaking and stuff, until you actually get into classes, um, the best way to do is to just go do. And there's plenty of people online who have insights into doing stuff like that. So if you ever need, hit me up. Uh, you know, there's plenty of people who would love to help. So Daniel Vent says, I got more from Voyager. Enterprise's ending made the whole series feel like MacGuffin. Yep. Especially like, I mean, because it's like you got Riker sitting there influencing the story. So then you're sitting there going, why? This is a what if. It's not, why are we watching this? And not to mention there was a time jump. Why? Like, I mean, it's just the whole thing was just, why are we watching this? So, and again, disrespectful to the series. Colin says, I do believe someone here has demonstrated that you can tell great stories with no budget at all. You're right. Steve has told some wonderful stories about Korath the Klingon. Wonderful stories. JD says, my theory about Voyager is that before they left, Janeway found the the most coked out OCD Tellarite engineer who actually kept the ship looking as good as it did. No fucking shit, dude. Fucking hell, man. Like, that ship should have looked like the Equinox, dude, by like season 3, before we even got to Year of Hell. Like the Kazon, as much as I hate the fucking Kazon, because those are some ugly motherfuckers. But Jesus Christ, you're traveling through, like, first off, how big is their space? Because their space was more massive than the Borg space. I swear to God, like, you're flying for like a year and a half through these people's space, and it's still there, and you're flying at like warp 9. Now, granted, you're stopping off at every planet. You're like, oh, planet. It's kind of like that one. It's kind of like that one thing in Family Guy. Oh, a piece of candy. Oh, a piece of candy. Oh, a piece of candy. And that's like Janeway and a planet. Oh, there's a planet. Oh, there's a planet. Oh, there's a planet. Like, so I mean, it's like, no wonder you didn't make it out of fucking Kazon space for like a year and a half. Like, you're never getting home, bitch. you know, um, like Laura Reloaded posed a question like, were they wrong to take the way through the Delta Quadrant? Should they have gone through the Gamma Quadrant to get to the wormhole? Like, did they take the wrong way? Like, he posed the question, and my mentality was like, well, if you weren't stopping off at every fucking planet, you might have had, it's probably only like a 10-month trip. But the way you stopped, 70 years, it's a Jesus Christ, but no, like, it really should have looked like the Equinox. Like, I mean, how many torpedoes hits, did you get? How many phaser blasts, especially your hull? And that's the thing that really sucked, is because it was an episodic format. They never changed the outside CGI, and the bridge always looked pristine. And realistically, like the beginning part of season 4, when you still saw the Borg fragments on the hull, they should have fucking kept it. They never should have cleaned that shit off. There were just no lasting repercussions on stuff. And that was so sad. So fucking sad. Daniel Vance reestablishing connection. Boosting the signal using the Midas array. I think I may have just lost internet. If you can read this, I'm in 1980. Am I here? I'm here. What's up, Daniel Vance? JD says that was for Adams Harbor. Sorry. Steve says, forget about Harry's girlfriend. Dude, like, see, and I probably missed that episode because that's, I know there's episodes of Voyager I haven't seen, and that's sad because there's, like, I probably should go back and watch every one of them like Mona has, but I mean, there's episodes of Enterprise I haven't seen, and that's why, like, Battlestar Galactica is my favorite sci-fi series. Star Trek, no, because the thing about it is, like, there are so many, there's so many treks that they're just regurgitated, and I'm tired of that. It's like, this is the same story I've seen, but this is a copy and paste from that episode. I don't want to see this. I'm okay. I'm gonna go watch something else, and then I just don't go back to it. And it's a great universe. It's just when you've seen it over and over and over and over and over, I'm good. Like I love Equinox. That to me is, oh my god, that is so good. But I love the Equinox crew more than Voyager because it's a fucked up story, and it's this is what Voyager could have been. Why wasn't it? You know. Let's see. Daniel Vance. Janeway was easily headed down the same path as Captain Ransom. It would have taken here a bit more time to reach those compromises. Yeah, and it should have been realistically, it should have been a lot sooner. Like I mean, like when her and Chakotay come face to face against the Borg in season 4, that was a great moment. I wish those moments had some repercussions. Like I love the fact that her and Chakotay at the end of Scorpion Part 2, they came to the friendly blow, or they came to the friendly, arm around the shoulder treatment. But dude, how cool would that have been had the tension been there for like half a season? Where, hey, I trusted you. I don't trust you anymore. The damage is there. Kind of like what they did with Tom Paris in, I think it was season 2, I think. Or maybe it was late season. No, it was season 2. Yeah, season 2. Where there was a couple episodes like he showed up late for work. Showed up late again. He's telling people to fuck off. Like for weeks we were all like, "What the fuck is going on with Tom?" When they had those long range storylines, it worked great. And they never gave Chakotay anything to do. And he's my favorite first officer. He had so much potential. A lot of times he was just relegated to, "Aye, sir." So sad. Here's another thing. How cool would it have been if while him and Janeway were having that tension, they come across a broken down Federation vessel? Maybe it is the Equinox. And he has to take that over while they have this tension. Or maybe it's another vessel, kind of like the Maquis, whatever, doesn't matter. But she puts him in charge of that. And he kind of has that, like, maybe the loyalties are broken to the point where he's like, maybe it's time to cut ties. I swore I never would, but kind of at that breaking point. I don't want to be in Borg space. I never thought I'd leave my captain, but I don't want to be here. We could leave Borg space right now. Like, maybe they're at that point again of, do we leave? Do we not? And then the crew splits off. You do that for like 5 episodes, where now you've got Voyager over here, you got the other crew over here, and they're on separate ways for maybe 5 episodes or so, and they eventually come back together. They're facing their own things, and they come back together. And like, you know what? We're stronger together than we were apart. Yeah, at the end of that crisis, whatever, where they realize we need each other. Stronger. Where Janeway realizes, I shouldn't have put us here in Borg space. I fucked up. I need you. Chakotay's like, I shouldn't have left you. I made a promise and I didn't keep it. I need you. To me, it's like that would have had the whole season of shit. And that's not even doing the year of hell. To me, it's stuff like that where it's like, it would have given Chakotay something to do. It would have given the crew a different dynamic. Because maybe now Tom Paris is like, Chakotay, I fucking hated you at the beginning, but you make a lot of sense. And, I still got that rebellious streak in me. Sorry, Captain Janeway. I know you gave me a chance, but no. What if you got Tuvok there that's like, I've always supported Janeway. Would he still always support Janeway? Or what if that's tested? What if he doesn't now? To me, it's one of those things where it's like, put these crew in stories that they never have. Test their loyalties. Fuck the CGI. Make the Year of Hell a spiritual one, not a physical one. Maybe what Kes saw was a tearing down of the physical Voyager, but now, since they've avoided that and they know how to avoid that, let's make it a spiritual journey where Voyager is torn apart and the crew at the end of it comes together. and now they're good again. They're whole. To me, that story would be fucking epic, and something that should have been told. It never really was. Maybe what do I know? You fan films. So Adam says, and JD's custom, my theory on Voyager is that she had a hidden lifetime supply of cigarettes, and that's how she ended up in Orange is the New Black, because she had all the bullshit that she fucking did in the Delta Quadrant and her cigarettes. So that's JD says, hence why you needed the coked out OCD television or keeping that. Again, this is all leading up to Orange is the New Black. At Daniel Vance, Voyager had a special place for me. It wasn't until I was 11 and just moved across the country. I started watching the series a year after it went off the air. The story being Far From Home. Fucking right on, man. I completely understand that. That is it has a special place for me too. It was probably about 2 years after I moved from Washington to here in Junction that Voyager came on. So I found the appealing story of being far from home, because I swore in '98 that I would. I moved here in '94, and I always swore that when I graduated, I would move back to Washington, which was my home, or what I felt was my home. And it took me years to realize that it wasn't my home. And by the time Junction became my home, I still want to leave this place, because this is not where I want to raise my kid. But it's where I'm at. And but Voyager, the ship being so far away from its home, trying to find its place in the universe, like I understood, and that's kind of why I'm so harsh on it. So I understand your feeling, related to that series. General Grievous says, yeah, so kind of good. So Cervera Design says, what type of chat is this? We're just bullshitting about everything and everything. It's kind of whatever we're all talking about. I'm kind of just responding to everything in the chat. We're talking about Trek. We were talking about uniforms earlier. So Adam says, I'll have to look into your Facebook and have a lot of tech experience that could help with behind the scenes or set work. Right on, man. Daniel Vance says, the welcoming kind. We are pretty welcome here, aren't we? Daniel Vance says, we're presently talking about Star Trek. And that's usually what we're talking about. Sometimes we talk about geek stuff. So, yeah, if you like comics, if you like wrestling, you like Star Trek, whatever, just, start talking. And, I generally respond to everything. I think I'm going to cut it out probably in about 8 minutes or so, because we've been talking for almost 2.5 hours now. 8 minutes, it'll be 2.5 hours. And still got to go watch Prodigy. So, yeah. So Colin says, even 7 and 9, that stopping at every planet Voyager was like a drunk moth lurching from one flame to the next. This is not wrong. Not wrong. Colin says, told Janeway. General Grievous says, I predict that Star Trek season 2, Harry will have been promoted to ensign senior grade. In that regard, he's got 2 of those silver pips with the black dots in it. 2 of those on his. So instead of the lieutenant junior grade, it's 2 silver pips with the black dots. God damn it! Oh fuck! Oh shit! So Steve says, "Good night, Clydes and Jives." Good night, Steve. Kapla, my Klingon friend, and yeah, you take care. We will see you next go around, and be safe, my friend. Be safe. So yeah, talking about the uniforms, where we left off 2 hours ago, over 2 hours ago, we my thoughts on the flashback Picard uniform, that the racing one, as people call it. I fucking hated that when I first saw it. But and I didn't even notice on the regular Picard one how it had the Delta insignias all over it in the main one, kind of like they do with the Kelvin timeline one. So both those, I was like, I don't want these. But knowing that I was going to be filming in the Picard era for my Constar series, I was like, well, okay, I'm going to get that. Uh, so I waited until it came out, and I was actually going to buy a regular one that didn't have the Delta insignias. I didn't even know they had that. I just didn't have the money to get it at the time, and I was like, well, I'll wait till it comes out. And then I saw the one with the Delta insignias. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So that blew me away. And then I was like, well, all right, I'll go ahead and grab the racing one. And the more I looked at the racing one, um, which Rafi was in, the yellow one, and her, the actress, she's a very striking actress. I find her very lovely. Um, Not in the type of hormonal I want to bone you kind of way. But I look at her and I'm like she's just very striking, very lovely, and she really makes that uniform look nice. Um, and the actress, when you find the character later on, and she's in that kind of 25th century trailer or late 24th century trailer, and your heart goes out to her. And then you see her in the Starfleet uniform, this eager Starfleet officer. I liked that uniform, for whatever reason. I really did not like that flashback uniform until I saw that. I was like, well, I as much as I did not want to like this, I do. Um, so I went out and I bought, my Menard character. I bought him the two uniforms. And that was when I noticed the Delta insignias that were on the one that I bought. I was like, wait, what is that? And that was really weird to me because it's like that looks so odd for a prime timeline Picard series. Like what? Like that? Why would you do that in this timeline? So again, like going back to where he's in the museum and you see the Discovery Pike Enterprise being, from Discovery, and then you see the Enterprise D, which is ours. Like it really makes you wonder, like, what? So, because the Delta insignias on the tops of the uniforms, it's just like that's a weird look for a Starfleet uniform. Like it just doesn't fit. And so many things about these new uniforms, when you look at them from a chronological order, they just don't make sense. Um, so I do have to wonder, like, are we are we in a multiverse of Trek? Are we in like the equivalent of parallels like Worf jumped into? Because when you look at First Contact and those uniforms, you know, we go from season 1 Next Gen to season 3 Next Gen for the uniform change, to DS9 season 1 to those change, to the First Contact uniforms. They follow a pattern that, that leads to that, leads to that, leads to that, and there it does. But then it regresses back down to Lower Decks uniform, and you're like, well, it's sort of a regression, but okay, you can kind of follow that. But then it goes to what, the Protostar uniform, but I think that's kind of just specific to that ship. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the episode, but even that is odd, because the cadets are supposed to be a specific uniform. But even that in itself is odd, because okay, do the cadets for just the ship have this uniform, or do the cadets in general have this type uniform? Because if this ship is specific to this uniform and all cadets have this also similar uniform, then why doesn't all of Starfleet have this uniform? Like, to me, that uniform just sticks out like a sore thumb, especially if this is after Lower Decks, but before the Rafi uniform that she had in the flashback Picard series. So it doesn't really line up. But then you look at the Star Trek Picard modern uniform, and you're just like, wait a second, like this doesn't. this doesn't look good either. So looking at all these uniforms and considering the fact that I buy them for my films, I'm all for buying them if we need to, because I believe in just telling a story, being like, fuck it, whatever. But it just seems like we got a new series, let's make a new uniform. Got a new series, let's make a new uniform. Got a new series, let's make a new. Well, does it make sense though, from a canonical point of view? No, it doesn't. So let's see here. So Colin says, or Harry has been demoted to midshipman for complaining about nothing promoted. Wouldn't that be some shit? JD's Custom says, two pips with the black is what they did to O'Brien. Important. You're not wrong. That might have been. So Mark says, sounds a little bit like Jack at the beginning of Anger Management. Colin says, I like Rafi. She is a good person with pain and will face that pain when she has to. No, that's saying like she's the best character in Picard, hands down. I like her better than Picard. I'd follow her. I mean, it broke my heart when she went to go see her son, and her son was, flat out lying to his wife about the mom leaving, and you could the fuck offness on his face. It was heartbreaking. As a parent, if Royce ever did that to me, dude, get me back on the ship so I can walk out the airlock. Like this, oh my God, heartbreaking. Like, oh my God, like wonderful actress. I don't know what else she's been in, but I mean, she's wonderful actress. Great. Yeah, she's definitely the best character on Star Trek Picard. Let's see. Colin says Picard is set in the Discovery timeline. When Picard goes to Starfleet HQ, the hologram of the 1701 he sees is the Discovery version. Picard, well, I mean, the Discovery timeline is the regular timeline. I don't think you could debate that it's supposed to be the same timeline as Kirk, because, I mean, Anson Mount had the flashbacks from the cage. So it is the timeline. It is, even though aesthetically it doesn't look the same, it is supposed to be the same. It is supposed to be, it's not a different timeline. It is the same time. So it goes the cage, then the Discovery stuff, and then Star Trek season 1. So I mean, it is the same timeline. It's not a different one. It's not the Kelvin. It's not the Kelvin universe stuff. So it's not a different timeline. So Mark says it has something to do with Picard. I'm wondering, because something's off, and I know as a filmmaker, I do that a lot with I'm running, I have my hands in the Starship Armitage series. I have my hands in the Lexington Adventure series. I have my hands in the Crossroads series. I have my hands in the Constar series. I have I dabble some in the Antilla series. Same thing with Dreadnought Dominion. Same thing with the Avalon universe. Same thing with the Starship Eagle or Star Trek Eagle. Same thing with Star Trek Nature's Hunger. Like I am very heavy in some films, and then I'm in the extended. I do have some reach and discussions with consistently with those filmmakers, even though I'm not a producer on those ones. So it's one of those things where you have to think that something's going on in the same fashion with continuity and what's going on. Much like when we saw the hologram of the Enterprise, like everyone's like, put this here. Oh, okay. Much more so than how it was when we were growing up with, DS9 writers talking to Voyager writers and then letting shit cross over. Like, it's very much like, nope, cross them over, let's do it. That's very much what we have now with our fan film universe, which is, no, let's cross them over. What you need the Constar, here you go. What you need the Lexington, here you go. You need this, here you go. You need this uniform, here you go. You know, it's so you do have to wonder if it does have something to do with that. Um, I don't know. Curious, but it is from a guy who buys the uniforms for his films. It is getting kind of old to be like, man, another one. Like, I don't mind the Star Trek Picard season 2 one because it's an alternate timeline. I just now have to think of, okay, what story am I going to tell for this? I'm excited because it gets the creative juices flowing, but at the same point, it's like, well, fuck, man. And don't get me started on the Strange New Worlds uniforms. I bought that one today so that we can tell earlier adventures for the Lexington adventures. But those things are fucking ugly. I am not a fan of that uniform. I do not like those. They are not good looking. I think they should have left with the Star Trek Discovery uniforms. The Star Trek Discovery Captain Pike uniforms. Those were great. I think they were beautiful. So General Grievous says many of the new Star Trek show producers have a Delta fetish. LOL. Lower decks, Deltas on the soles of the boots. Prodigy, the bolt on the ship, the Delta shape, the phasers, the Deltas on them also. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, if you go back to Superman Returns, how Superman had the diamond. Like, he had the diamond on the boots, he had the diamond on the back of the boots, he had the diamond on the belt buckle, he had just diamonds everywhere. It was like, how vain is the family of L? You know, just a very strange family, you know. So JD said, to be honest, the semantic minutia of these uniforms is something we are gonna kind of have to get over. And they want flashy, cool, new for each new series that sells more stuff. Don't you tell me the truth, JD. No, you're absolutely right. Like, in the real world, it is true. They want each series to be identified as something, or at least they want each new season. I mean, look at Discovery. Discovery did that. Season 1 had those god awful, nasty fucking tinfoil looking uniforms. Season 2 had the beautiful Captain Pike perfection uniforms. Season 3 had the drab, you know, suck all the life out of this television series type uniforms. And season 4 had the, hey, let's pop off the screen, awesome, cool looking uniforms, even though the series sucks uniforms. So, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. With each season, you got something new, something pop, and then, hey, each, you know, buy our uniforms. You're absolutely right. And plus, if the toys do good, we can just do a body swap. Heads are the same, body swap. We're good, except for Michael Burnham. Every season, you got a funky new hairdo. Must be nice to have hair. My hair looks great. Give a thumbs up if you think my hair looks great. So Mark says, you picked up that they were wearing a badge and others weren't. The badge is associated with the Picard series. It's subliminal. Oh, there ain't nothing subliminal about that. There ain't nothing subliminal about that. I mean, I almost have a badge fucking carved in my fucking forehead. Don't boot me off, YouTube. I was just kidding. It's called sarcasm. I ain't gonna hurt myself. I don't want another message saying, man, so you can hurt yourself? Here's some links to some suicidal hotlines. I'm good. Good, YouTube. JD says, what is important is that for $10 a month, you can get the 30-day free tacos of taco. Fuck, I want some tacos. Mona made some delicious fucking tacos the other day. It was like some habanero chicken stuff that she like put on some little small tortilla things and fried them up. And I was like, fuck, my arteries are clogged just eating this stuff. I love it. Oh, so delicious. Oh, see, this is why I'll never be thin, because my wife's a good cook. Even though I can't really taste it, like I could breathe it. So like that's what I need. I need to get some like Mona Cooking air freshener and just breathe it in. Ugh. Such a strange guy. So Colin says, I think there is time travel in Prodigy. The dates don't fit. The diviner has been looking for the protostar for at least 17 years, but it is 8 years after Voyager returned to Earth. That, well, and you're not wrong. I mean, a lot of people have been talking that the dates don't add up. And again, I don't know anything about it because I haven't watched the series. And again, for my stuff, whenever I see, I can't complain about that, because for like my stuff, people ask me, hey, what year did did this happen? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm always vague on my stuff. Like I never give star dates if I can help it. I never fucking talk about the year if I can help it. Because if like you watch my films, well, actually, let me give a better instance. If you watch Dreadnought Dominion never moves outside of Star Trek Season 3. If you watch everything in their films, it's always Star Trek Season 3. Now, my character, just if you look at the TOS films, he moves gradually from Star Trek Season 3, slowly, and he goes through the Melbourne films, which takes place right before motion picture, and then the early Constar films is motion picture-esque, and then keeps going past motion picture, and then post motion picture, and keeps going. However, and then the Constar gets destroyed, and it's very much like maybe a year after fucking motion picture, and he gets promoted to admiral about a year after motion picture. However, if Gary sometimes says, "Hey, we need Admiral Menard for a scene where he sends us on," sure, no problem, and I'd have no problem telling that story. And technically, they're still in fucking Star Trek Season 3. So I never give dates because that breaks fucking canon. Now, if he says, "I need Engineer Menard," okay. Or if he says, "I need Captain Menard," okay. Now, all the series is, if Gary says, "Hey, I need Captain Menard to do this," okay. Now, my Captain Menard always wears the Star Trek Picard or Star Trek Captain Pike command uniform. That's something that's established on my show, and I do it. Now, Jose, or I'm sorry, Joe Sempita, I'm so used to calling him Jose, but he goes by Joe. And I'm trying to get used to that. Forgive me. Joe has asked, "Hey, we very much are TOS aesthetic. Can you have Menard be in a command uniform but be TOS?" Technically, that breaks the rules of what Menard has already said, which is we're going to use these uniforms because every captain can wear whatever uniform he wants to wear. So we're going to go with these. However, since Jose's series is clearly TOS, fuck it, why not? Let's do it. So it's one of those things where technically all these things contradict each other. But who cares? And it's one of those things that, when I hear the time difference, because a lot of people have said the same thing that you've said, I can't look at this and say, "Oh, that proves it. That proves it." Because I look at my own stuff and someone could say the same thing. Is Vance being clever? Now, there are times where I've told you guys, stay tuned. This is an Easter egg. This is a hint. Something, the big story's coming. But there's plenty of other times where I'm like, nope. It never moves past TOS Season 3 for them. So I can't look at this and say there's clearly something here. As a fan, I know, no, this breaks canon. However, are they being clever? Or is it just there's a lot of continuity to keep track of? And at some point you have to say, "Hey, we want to tell a good story. So we're going to tell a good story." For me, the story always trumps continuity. Story trumps canon, but not necessarily our own continuity, if that makes sense. Like clearly, Captain Brousseau, or well, Commander Brousseau at the time, knew Menard, and they were friends. While Menard was an engineer on the Valiant, and we've established that. Now, if I were to say, if we were to film something where Rousseau meets Captain Menard for the first time, I would say that breaks what we've already established. I can't do that. No. Or if they were to have something where Rousseau tells Denson, "Yeah, I met Captain Menard for the first time. He's a cool, handsome guy with awesome hair." Dude, we've known each other for fucking years. We've established that. Fuck, cut. What are you doing? No. So to me, that would break what we've done. But as for canon, dude, you've got your own series. Jose's got his own series. I've got mine. What's your story? You guys need you guys need an admiral to help give you the assignment. You want me to be in your series for this film. You know what? Fuck it. I've got the time. Let's film it. So, you guys see what I'm saying? So I can't look at this and say, yep, you are absolutely right. They fucked up. Or, yep, you're absolutely right. This is the biggest hint. I don't know. So I know what I'd like to think. But again, are we more clever than the writers? I don't know. Again, these are the same people that Khan recognized Chekhov. Why? Anyway, let me get through some more of these hints, and I'm 15 minutes past when I said I was going to stay. So, General Grievous says Prodigy is a time travel related to the law Chakotay made, which is set in season 2 or 3. Again, that's giving the writers a lot more credit than they may not deserve. He wasn't a captain then. Yeah, you may or may not be right. Daniel Vance gives a thumbs up. General Grievous said, if all else fails, Vance, they can donate the uniform design to the Space Force. They already stole the Starfleet Delta. Very true. JD Customs, elbow cough. Have they said exactly when Prodigy happens? If so, I missed it. I have no idea. I don't know. I assume that based on what they said that they did, or talking about time travel, the time travel stuff. I don't know. I always assume that it's close to Star Trek Picard. I don't know. Like everything just feels off to me, from the design of the ship to they when they showed all these different in the Kobayashi Maru, you saw the Future Imperfect communicator, you saw the All Good Things communicator, like you saw all these multiple timeline things. So I really don't know. I haven't seen enough of the series to comment, and I don't know. Maybe if I like what I see tonight, I'll go back tomorrow and probably binge watch the whole thing, or at least what I've missed, to give my thoughts, and then probably not have this discussion for like 5 months. So I don't know. I don't know. So General Grievous says Prodigy is set in 2383, 5 years after Voyager, 4 years after Nemesis, but before the destruction of Romulus. Collins says Prodigy is very good at details. The time difference is intentional and highlighted. Then maybe I need to go back and watch the earlier episodes. I don't know. Like I said, I'll watch the final ones where they get their uniforms and whatnot. Like I said, that the series seems so disconnected from Star Trek, and I know it was a kid's show, but to me, I think it was a little bit too kiddie for me. I don't know. And I mean, then again, I hated Lower Decks at first, and now it's one of my favorite ones. I can't wait for it to come back. Because I think that was a breath of fresh air that Trek needed. That was the hope. Ironic enough, the hope that I felt Trek needed, that's not in Picard or Discovery. I digress. So JD says, I've watched every episode. I'm loving it. And this one is a cliffhanger, which is annoying. But good. No, every one of them should be a cliffhanger. Honestly, I don't like the series that wrap themselves up, and that's it, because it's like, well, what next? Yeah, good. The fact that it ends on a cliffhanger, good. At least they're going to get more. I honestly, I'm glad that I'm looking forward to watching it, because this is the first series that I did not give a shit about, because I didn't like what I saw, and the fact that I'm excited to go watch it, that says something, because maybe this will be like Lower Decks, where I'm looking forward to seeing it again. General Grievous says Prodigy touches upon some dark topics like child slavery and other deeper issues. Good. Things like that should be touched upon. The fact that it's not just the little kitty pie in the face type Three Stooges. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about it. So Colin says I have high hopes for Picard season 2. They brought back Doug Drexler and the Okudas to fix the visuals so that it could have huge improvement over season 1. Yeah, no, I heard that they brought back Doug and the Okudas. You know, and everything I've seen looks great. Yeah, everything I've seen. Um, it looks wonderful. I'm I am also looking forward to season two. Um, yep, I wait with bated breath. So and I you know from what I've heard, it should be an improvement over season one. So yeah. So JD says the mid-season break is until the the mid-season break is until this Thursday. Then Disco comes back till next week. Then LD is my 100 favorite new Trek. Willie Mo says, "Hey, what's up?" Well, hey, Bill. It sucks you just got here because I'm about to cut it short because my brain is turning to clay, and we've been here for almost 3 hours now. So that being said, Bill, we're glad you Cape burglar you. Um, we're glad you at least made it. But we are sadly about to cut the show out because, like I said, my brain's about to turn off, and I'm about to go crash on the couch and watch some Prodigy. But you guys, I want to say for a show that I was only going to do for like maybe 30 minutes, just to kind of bullshit with you guys. You guys have made my return to YouTube wonderful. So, like I said earlier on the show that I did with Frank, I do have a show that's starting. It's a rotation of shows every day at 5 o'clock on the channel. It's something different every day. Like I got a couple video game shows where I just sit and sit and play video games, and I'm just like I am now, where I kind of cuss out the TV whenever, like the fuck is this guy doing? Oh, you piece of shit! What are you? Ah, man, But it's old video games like some Nintendo, some Super Nintendo, and it like maybe 10 minutes, because it's either I get to the first boss and beat it, or I die. It kills me and I get to my first continue. So it's nothing that's super long, but it's something where and then I give my thoughts on the game. So it's nothing that's super long, but it's fun. At least it's fun for me. Then I got a couple ones where I kind of I watch a clip and I review it, but it's nothing that is like, oh my god, the newest and the latest and the. It's something that's like, hey, this is a cool Batman clip that meant something to me. I liked it. What do you guys think? This is my thoughts. And then I have some breakdowns of the Constar universe, that is kind of dissecting a film, some thoughts of behind the scenes stuff of what it was like making the films. Another section of it is like a character breakdown of what my thoughts were creating that character, the actor or actress that played it. And then the episodes themselves, what it was that went into making the actual episodes. So there's a lot of different shows coming. Like I said, every day at 5 o'clock we've got new content, and they're pre-recorded shows, so I won't be able to do the chats with you guys here. But every day there's going to be a new show that's on top of our regular content that we do. Please join us. And on Mondays, there's going to be new Pizza Roll Diaries every Monday at 1 o'clock Central Time. And Sundays at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, we're going to be doing a new Critical Not Cynical. So join us for that. And then on Friday nights at 10 o'clock, where we used to do the Critical Not Cynicals, we are going to be doing a crossover with NerdTube of just geek talk, kind of like we're doing now, where we can talk about anything and everything from either video games or wrestling or DC or Marvel or Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever, like whatever's going on at the time, just kind of bullshit, and just talk as geeks. Because it's one of those things where it's like, my internet at work sucks. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes Frank's does, sometimes his don't. But I can't review a film if I don't have internet. But hey, if we're all just talking geek stuff, if it's glitchy, it's okay. Like, it can cut it in and out. So join us for that. Same time as what we used to do for the Critical Not Cynicals, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Join us. Because if you can't watch us on You know, this one, you know, it'll be streamed on the NerdTube one same way. You know, so it'll be on 2 channels, but you'll have 2 sets of groups that are talking about the same stuff. You know, join us. It's going to be great because they're great extended memes, great members of the family. This channel, join us. So 10 o'clock Central Time, Friday nights, just like we used to always have. Join us because we're starting back up. So it'll be something fun. And you can join us in the chat, communicate like we do now. JD says, night, my dude. Hey, night, brother. You have a good night. And we'll get you on the pizza rolls one of these days, man. Can't wait to talk to you, man. Geek out about Trek figures. Bill says, I can't wait to see what the story for Picard season 2. No, I agree, man. It's I think we're all kind of waiting. It's gonna be a good time, man. But all right, guys, I think we're 5 minutes short of hitting the 3-hour mark. General Grievous says, night, bro. Good night, guys. And seriously, all of you guys, it's been a wonderful sabbatical being away. But last night I think I shot 11 films here in my studio. It was a lot of fun. I felt like I got pumped back up to knocking out some fan films. I've got a brand new one coming out here within the next week or week and a half, and I got another one being edited in the you know, on its way. So expect some new fan films coming up. Expect brand new shows from us on the channel, like more regular content. Good stuff all around. But with that being said, go watch a fan film that we have on the channel, one that you haven't seen in a while, one that you haven't ever seen. Just go watch one, give it a like, give it a comment, share it with a friend. You know, maybe one that would like it. I don't know. That support goes a long way. You know, you'd be surprised. So, with that being said, everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. Everyone that's watching on the rewind, thank you for watching. With that being said, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.